Okay, folks, brace yourself. You ready? Sunshine at Coors Field in downtown Denver. Rockies and the Marlins, game 3 of their 3-game set. Both teams have won a game, so today is the rubber game of the 3-game series. It's also Troy Tulowitzki bobblehead day as Kyle Kendrick is looking for his first win at home this year, looking for win number 3 overall. Kendrick's had all kinds of success against the Marlins. Dee Gordon will lead off. He also leads Major League Baseball with that .365 batting average. Let's look at the lineup for the Marlins. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Gordon will lead off. Then Prado, Stanton, Bohr back in the lineup playing first base. Ozuna's at fine center fielder. Young Christian Yelich in left. Real Muto, whom we saw behind the plate in game 1, is back at Chevrolet. And then the pitcher, Jose Urena. And Kyle Kendrick on the season. Billy?
Well, here's a guy that brought in by the Rockies to come in and eat some innings. He has been wildly inconsistent. We saw the game in Milwaukee where he had a great start, great quality start, and then he's had a couple of situations where he wasn't able to get through the lineup. But with Kyle, it's more about just pounding the strike zone. There's times where I like to say he nibbles. He nibbles the corners, and when he's ineffective, it's when he's not getting those strikes off the plate. So with Kyle, we've seen the success he's had against the Marlins. He's very good against this team. Pound the strike zone, challenge these guys. Your lineup is going to score some runs today. There's no doubt. I see it. So pitch long enough into the game where you can match up.
Let's look at the Rockies defensively, and they got Tulowitzki back in the lineup playing shortstop, of course. Rosario's back at first base, regular outfield from the first 2 games, and then Nick Hundley behind the plate. We saw Michael McKenry there yesterday, and Kyle Kendrick on the hill for the Rockies. Rosario with a couple nice defensive plays yesterday at first base. It was interesting, too, because Wallin, after the ball game, was prouder of his defense than he was of his 2 home runs.
You know what? I am more proud of him for his defense as well. I think it's great. I love the fact we always knew he can hit, but for him to go to the AAA and coming into the season, not being the everyday catcher anymore, asked to do a position that he's never really done before, and now he's doing it at the major league level with a very talented infield, Nolan, DJ, Tulo, and having to pick balls. He was fantastic yesterday.
I think if you looked a week back and thought, I got a right-handed pitcher going on Sunday, that Rosario would not be in the lineup. It might be Ben Paulson, but the way he's swinging the bat, playing defense, he's there again today. Well, we got some clouds, but we got sunshine and no weather delay, at least to start this ball game. Don't expect one today either. Should be a great game, a great day for baseball, and the Rockies looking to win a game, another series against the Florida Marlins. Dee Gordon will lead off. Left-handed hitter, played for the Dodgers the last couple of years, picked up in a trade in the offseason by Miami. He is a Florida native, grew up in Orlando. Had a younger brother drafted #1 by the Twins a year ago, a shortstop. Kyle Kendrick going to work. Good to have you on board today. First pitch of the game in there, strike 1. Looked like Gordon taking all the way.
Well, I like it right there. Kendrick so far this year, .312 batting average against him by left-handers. So left-handers have effectively hurt him, but when he's coming, pounding the strike zone, trying to keep guys off balance, he's good.
Gordon 3 for 10 in the series. 1 ball and 1 strike on the second baseman. Partly cloudy skies, 73 beautiful degrees in downtown Denver. Kendrick working right in the middle of the rubber for the windup. And Gordon will line that one off the glove of LeMahieu, and that's a base hit to right field. All 6'4" of him tried for that one, couldn't quite get the leather on it.
Well, the ball was hit so hard he wasn't able to get his full jump involved to be able to catch this baseball. You can see Dee Gordon jumps on a fastball, and DJ almost an in-between step that he had to take. You can see he's not able to fully load up. And for a guy that's 6'4", he had to hit it just high enough to get it over him.
Maybe the hardest hit ball that Gordon's had in the series. Now the veteran Martin Prado, third baseman. Kendrick quickly into a stretch, and this one is popped up behind home plate. It's out of play. Strike 1.
Well, Prado's faced Kyle Kendrick many times, and he's had a .385 batting average against him. It's one of the guys in the lineups that has done fairly well against Kyle Kendrick.
And against the Rockies in general, Martin Prado, he has a 13-game hitting streak going against the Rockies. He's hitting .462 in that stretch. Long pause for Kendrick, and time given to Prado at the plate. Last 2 seasons against the Rockies, Prado has hit .475. Career .322 at Coors Field. 52 games and well above 300. Been a solid hitter for a long time. Came up in 2006 with the Braves. And that's sticking for a strike, going 2.
I think when you think of a prototypical 2-hole hitter in the major league level, you think of Martin Prado. You think of a guy that can pull a baseball when he has to, but can handle the bat, doesn't strike out often, will get on base. More importantly, in situations like this, he's not afraid to hit 2 strikes or hit behind the runner.
And the 0-2 pitch. Line drive to right field. That's going to be a base hit. Gordon will stop at second. No, he won't either. He's trying for 3. The throw is offline. Throw back to second. And out at second base is Prado.
Ball popped out of Tulo's glove.
Safe at second base. Tulo couldn't hang on. He had him, and the ball popped out. Second and third for the Marlins, and nobody out.
D. Gordon kind of went slow to second base, like he wasn't going to try to take third. Cargo had a feeling that he was going to try to run on him, but that's an errant throw. That's high, too high for a cutoff. And then Tulo just being able to hang on to the ball. You can see it was right in his glove. And then Prado kicked it out. Nolan being heads up, knowing that there was going to be a runner trying to advance. You can see the ball was coming out of the glove well before Prado got there.
You can see Tulo really never secured that ball. Now Stanton with 2 in scoring position, and he'll pop one up. This might be playable, and it's going to be out of play right over the dugout, third base side. Tough day yesterday for Giancarlo Stanton. How about 4 strikeouts, Ryan?
That's unheard of. Chris Russin was the first pitcher in the National League, first major league pitcher to strike him out 4 times. I'm sure he struck out 4 times in a game, but not by one pitcher. And talking to Michael McHenry after the game, they really went away from what the book is. The book is try to get Stanton off the plate, throw the ball away, but they really challenged him inside and tied him up.
And that pitch missed outside, 1-1.
Well, you can go ahead and see, you can see the fastballs are the fastballs that are setting up the changeups. The illuminated pitches are the strikeouts. And you can see they went down and in to Stanton to just tie him up, and it worked.
Infield back for the Rockies defensively. That one line down the left field line. That's a foul ball. Stanton coming into the series led the National League in strikeouts, and now he's done that by a wide margin. He's got 10 more than Jock Peterson of the Dodgers. .234 batting average, but 18 homers and all those RBIs, 47.
And he likes hitting at Coors Field, .350 batting average, 8 homers.
One in the series on Friday night. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got it. Oh, big strikeout for Kyle Kendrick with Stanton.
You can see on the Subaru Supermo, Kyle Kendrick goes for a slider down and in. It's been the pitch that's been effective on Stanton this weekend. Goes in earlier in the count with the fastball up and in that he fell back, and then you can see you speed him up and then you slow him down. And for a situation where you have to just put the ball in play, that's a big strikeout, because now you can try to get a pop-up and maybe limit the damage.
Stanton struck out 3 times Friday night, 4 yesterday in his first at bat here. And here's Justin Bohr, the first baseman, looks at ball 1. So 1 down, second and third for the Marlins. We're in the top of the first. Kendrick stays in the stretch. Bohr had a good game on Friday. Got the start. Didn't see him yesterday. Had 4 hits. And that one has popped up. That's playable for Rosario. Will lean in foul ground. Will make the catch.
So I just mentioned about trying to tie up a hitter. Well, here's another chance. Here's the curveball up and in. This is a pitch that will tie up a hitter. You get the ball above the belt, with some action moving in towards the left-handed hitter. That's a great pitch to pop a guy up on, and it does. And Bohr isn't able to get his hands extended. Those are times where we know Kyle Kendrick is a sinker changeup pitcher. And over the course of the season, there's been times where the cutter's been very ineffective, almost to the point where he's scrapped it. But there's a situation where he used it up and in, got the pop-up with runners in scoring position. Again, all it took was a ground ball to get a run, and you're looking at 1-0. He has a chance to get out of it.
Now Marcell Ozuna, the center fielder for the Marlins, will look at ball one. Ozuna's had a good series. He had 3 hits yesterday. He's 4 for 9 in the series. Scored twice, driven in a run, had an extra base hit with a double. Kendrick trying to put the Marlins down when he had 2 in scoring position and nobody out. Pitch, he has popped up this one, foul on a play. A good pitch in on the hands again of a hitter.
Well, he's showing me he's trying to go work away and then come right back up and in. Haven't seen much of that from Kyle Kendrick. Again, when you have a sinker ballers tend to keep the ball down in the zone. Kendrick's pitching up in the zone when he has to, and it's really creating some marginal swings by the Marlins hitters.
Ozuna riding a 7-game hitting streak overall, 10 games against the Rockies. The pitch, swing and a miss. Good pitch by Kyle Kendrick. It's 1-2.
You can hear the crowd getting into it, appreciating what Kyle's done so far. Second and third, nobody out. Typically a situation where, as a Marlin, you're expecting to see some runs.
Leadoff single for Gordon. Prado singled. Second and third. Stanton struck out. Bohr fouled out. 1-2 pitch awaiting Ozuna. Ground ball hit left side. That's to the hole in the left field. A base hit, and that's going to score 2. Diving attempt made by Tulowitzki, couldn't quite get it, and drawing first blood today, the Marlins 2-0 Miami.
That's too bad. That was a good sequence of at-bats by Kyle Kendrick, and then one pitch to Ozuna. And Ozuna so far, .462 career batting average at Coors Field. You can see just out of the reach of Tulo, who had to dive. Second and third, nobody out. Typically 85% of the time you're expected to score a run. Down to the last strike, and he was able to get it.
2 outs, runner at first base for Christian Yelich, and he'll line this one to right field. That's a base hit. That's 4 hits in the inning now for Miami. Throw back to second, but there is Ozuna. So 4 singles, and the inning keeps going for Miami.
You can see 13 allowed of his runs in the first inning. That's a lot of runs to be given up in that first inning, especially when we know what type of records teams have if you score first.
And Conley went out the mound just to settle Kendrick down a bit. 2 outs. JT Realmuto, the catcher, is the hitter. We saw him in game 1. And from Oklahoma, Midwest City, Oklahoma. JT Realmuto, really high is the organization in this guy. I think he's going to be a terrific hitter, great receiver already as a catcher.
Well, and he's second in baseball in triples with 4. Well, I just mentioned that when Kyle Kendrick gives up runs early, it definitely puts the Rockies at a disadvantage. And for when the Marlins score first, they were 19 and 14 so far this season.
One is hit to right center field. That's playable. Charlie Blackmon will settle under this one and make the catch. There is out number 3. But some damage done by the Marlins. They put together 4 singles and lead it after a half inning, 2-0. Charlie Blackmon leads off for the Rockies, and Charlie's swinging the bat well and very, very consistent first 2 months of the season. Here's the Southwest lineup for the Rockies, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Blackmon, LeMahieu, Tulowitzki, Gonzalez, and Nolan Arenado hitting 5th day. Rosario Hundley back in the lineup. Barnes in that familiar number 8 spot, and then the pitcher Kyle Kendrick. And what do we know, Spilly, about Jose Urena?
Well, he came up from New Orleans, and he was leading the Pacific Coast League in ERA. Again, another guy that's had to step up because of all the injuries that the Marlins have. 92, 94 miles an hour, sinker slider. Kind of reminds me of Esmil Rogers. Remember him?
Yep.
He's pitching right now with the New York Yankees. Nice, easy arm action. But at times, from what I've heard, he's still a young guy in the major league, so hopefully the wide eyes are going to be even wider pitching at Coors Field today.
Built just like Esmil Rogers, 6'3", 175. So making his 3rd start, 5th big league appearance for Urena. 0-2, so looking for his first win, and Charlie Blackmon digs in. Blackmon this series is having a good one, 4 for 9, including 3 hits in yesterday's game 2. .270 batting average for Blackmon, 7 homers, 20 driven in. Take that one low and outside, 2-0.
I really feel like Charlie's taken a huge step forward so far this season. And coming off an all-star year last year, I really like his at-bats. I feel like they're a lot more efficient. He takes a lot more pitches. You can see his on-base percentage is bumped up so much, 379 in the month of June. And he works hard. He's working so hard at his craft. I know the numbers aren't where they were last year, but I really feel he's gotten to be a better player than where he was last year.
Really embrace that leadoff role as well. 2-1 pitch to Charlie, and that's down low. So he said something interesting to us, the media members, in the spring. I think, Spilly, you were there. Somebody asked him, hey, what'd you work on in the offseason? He said, I worked on being mentally a better leadoff guy.
And that's hard because some guys, you ask him to take more pitches. I know spring training, Charlie really worked hard on taking a lot more pitches.
Bouncing ball towards second base, backhanded by Gordon. A quick throw just in time to get Blackmon. And let's look at the Marlins with the glove in the field. Pretty much the same way we have seen the first couple of games, at least in the outfield. And you got Justin Bohr back at first base and Real Muto behind the plates. Echeverria, Prado, shortstop, and third. D. Gordon at second have been there all 3 games in this series. DJ LeMahieu, we got 2 of the hottest hitting second basemen in Major League Baseball in this series. D. Gordon, DJ LeMahieu. Strike 1 to DJ.
And they both play amazing defense. That was a ball that D. Gordon just potentially took a base hit away from Charlie Blackmon, and it looked almost routine.
3 more hits for DJ yesterday. 1 ball, 1 strike here. 3 for 9 in the series. At .339 batting average, 3rd in the National League.
Well, and he hits so well during the day. He hits right-handed pitching so well. And Urena has a .394 batting average from righties. Righties are hitting nearly 400 off, which is, to me, a little bit surprising.
You'd think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
Lefties instead of righties?
I would think so.
One and 2 on LeMahieu. Urena fires and missed outside, evens the count. DJ has hit safely in 17 of his last 19 games. This guy, we're told, our first look at Urena, but not overpowering. Low 90s fastball at best. A good sinker with the 2-seamer. And that one hit hard. Base hit to left field for LeMahieu. Yet another base hit early in the ball game for the Rockies' second baseman.
Well, what makes DJ so special, he can take any fastball you throw him, no matter how fast the speed is, and fire it off into right field. If you hang him a slider, as he gets one almost right there, looks like an off-speed pitch, he can pull it, and he'll pull it right through that 6-hole for a base hit. When you're able to stay on the off-speed pitch, so whatever off-speed pitch you get, I can put in play, and then still be able to fire at your fastball, at your best fastball, and hit it hard in play. It's why you're hitting over 340.
Now Tulowitzki really swinging a hot bat, and he'll look at strike 1. Tulowitzki 3 for 4 in the series. He didn't play in yesterday's game, played Friday night and had the 3 hits. Homestand, he's 8 for 16. 2 homers and 9 RBIs in the homestand. Batting average over 300 for Troy. Ground ball to short, could be 2. Second for 1. Gordon on to first. It is a double play. And the Rockies come up empty in the first inning. Well, then to the second, 2-0 Marlins at Coors Field. Back in a moment on Root Sports. Coors Light, and by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Red Rocks Amphitheater, what a beautiful place. Rockies down 2-0 early on, top of the second inning here at Coors Field. Jerry Schummel with Ryan Spilborghs this afternoon. The Rockies trying to win a series against the Marlins, and they got a tough assignment coming up the next 3 days with the St. Louis Cardinals coming in. Ryan, the team with the best record in baseball.
You got to be smart, and when you're facing the Cardinals, you can't make mistakes. And again, when we saw it with the Marlins, this is a chance to win a big series. Going up against the Cardinals and Dodgers beating each other up.
Line drive to center field off the bat of Echeverria, and it's hit right to Charlie Blackmon. 1 pitch and 1 out. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. How about this? Wins against the Marlins. You would never thought Kyle Kenrick would be on this list. He's 14-3 against the Marlins in his career. You're not surprised by Greg Maddux, but Maddux has 15 losses.
But Kendrick has only 1 loss to the Marlins in the last 21 of those starts. So he has pitched extremely well against this Marlins team.
All those years with the Phillies in that same division. And here's the pitcher now, Urania, and he'll look at a pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. So 4 singles with the 2 runs for the Marlins in the first inning, and then Echeverria hit the ball hard, lined out to center. 0 for 4 on the year is this right-handed hitting pitcher. And that one missed away, 2-1. Kenrick at Coors Field this year, 0-3, ERA of 8 in 4 starts. Fouled straight back, 2-2. For Kyle, 12th start of the year. The team is just 3-8 in his starts this year, 2-7 for him on the season.
He hasn't really had a lot of run support in his starts, though. He's averaging 3.5 runs per game. By contrast, Chad Bettis, nearly 5 runs per game. David Hale, who's pitched really well, 4 runs per game, and Chris Russin, nearly 6 runs per game.
3-2 the count now on the pitcher Urania. One thing Kyle's done, he's worked some innings for the Rockies, even though he hasn't had a lot of success. He's worked 6 or more innings in 6 of his 11 starts, so he's given the Rockies some innings. Just hasn't had much to show for it. 3-2 pitch just swung on and missed. Strike 3. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation. Send us your thoughts and photos via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook using the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll show some of your Toyota Talk comments throughout the ball game on this Sunday afternoon. Like this one.
Yeah, you gotta love a Rockies game on a Sunday. Sunday fun day.
Yeah, especially when you have weather like we have finally on a Sunday. And ice cream.
Yummy ice cream.
Back to top of the order, Gordon showed bunt. He'll take it, strike 1. Got the rally started for the Marlins first inning with a single, and he scored a run.
Right, D. Gordon's the cliche that in the dugout you'll hear a lot. You go, we go.
Absolutely.
D. Gordon's going, the Marlins are going.
Had a very slow start to the year, but boy, has he come on the last month and a half. Those first 2-3 weeks were rough, but leads baseball in hitting. And swinging, just caught a piece of that one, 1-2.
Coming into this season, he was a career 272 hitter. Some guys, they figure it out at the major league level. They figure out what they can do well. I think a guy like DJ LeMahieu is a great example of somebody that knows what he's capable of doing and hasn't changed his approach. A guy like D. Gordon, we've seen him put on some weight, put the ball on the ground a little bit more, but he definitely pulls the baseball more too.
1-2 pitch is hit to left field, but that's playable for Barnes. 2 outs. Back at 3 outs. 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Kendrick, and a quick one after giving up 2 runs in the first inning. Bottom of the second coming up for the Rockies.
A good view at the top of that escalator ride. Carlos Gonzalez, he's due up first here in the bottom of the second. He's hitting .389 over the course of the last 9 games. That includes the home run from yesterday. But Troy Tulowitzki, his teammate, would be cautious to look at the numbers alone.
I'm not that guy that says, we'll look at the back of the baseball card, because this game doesn't work that way. It can humble you more times than not. Good players that end up where they're supposed to be, but it's not a given. I think that's just a cliche that's used. It isn't appropriate. It's hard. This is a tough league. It's a tough game. Every year is different. Sometimes guys don't find it. In Cargo's case, I do have a lot of confidence in him that he's going to have a great year. But I hate when people just say, oh, well, he's Carlos Gonzalez and he's going to hit 300 with 20 homers, because this game's not that easy.
The game is tough day to day. Cargo hitting .239 right now on the season. That's not a number that we would expect to stay there as the course of the season goes along. And Philly, I'll ask you this because you've been there, you've battled, you've had your highs, your lows, you're standing in that box. But when you do create a name for yourself that says you're this kind of hitter and you're not hitting there, how hard can it be every day to try and get back there?
Well, I think you're right, Jenny. You're trying to live up to an expectation. You're trying to live up to a contract, the back of a card. And sometimes those expectations are unrealistic. Sometimes you get off to such a great start that you just had a good start. You know, you ran into some pitches. I think in Cargo's case, do it.
Big shift on defensively in the infield, and Cargo tried to put that bunt down and shock everybody.
I like it.
Third baseman Prado has moved over around to the right side of second base.
2-1 count, not a typical count to bunt because it puts you right into 2 strikes. But if you're going to do this, you almost don't have to surprise them so much because they have no shot to get over there. That was almost, you know, a last second, let me trick you.
It's a broken bat to Hopper to Prado, and he'll throw to first base and get that out. So the shift paying off there. Prado, the third baseman, making that play.
But going back to Cargo and Jenny, when you look at the stats and when you look at how much of the season is left for Cargo, he's at 184 at bats right now. You still have nearly 350 more at bats to go. Your season can turn in a heartbeat. But when you're trying to be somebody that more than what you're capable of doing, we talk about D. Gordon, we talk about DJ. When you stay with what you're capable of doing, you're far better off.
Nolan Arenado looks at strike one. With Gonzalez, too, I think he's made some good adjustments. Pitchers are pitching him away to begin the year, and he's starting to take that pitch rather than roll it over.
Yes, he is.
Nolan Arenado swinging the bat well for the Rockies. Ball 1 strike. He leads the team in home runs and RBIs. 15 homers, 42 driven in. They're 94 miles an hour, so that's the most velocity from Urania so far. Breaking ball missed. 2-1.
Well, so far I don't see the wide eyes for Urania that was mentioned to me earlier today. I see a guy that's not afraid. He's coming right after Rockies hitters. He's working fast. He's pounding the strike zone.
One is bounced to Prado. Got a big backhand hop. He'll lob it over to first base for the second out. Prado's been busy in this inning. So 2 outs and nobody on for the Rockies. Gorgeous day weather-wise. We have not said that very much this year, if at all, I think, at Coors Field. The day yesterday for the Bull. Long home run and 1 at bat. Then he lined one over the left field wall. Got on top of a fastball. First multi-homer game this year. Had 2 homers coming in, now 4 for the year. 12 RBI. Swings and misses at an off-speed pitch. Strike 1. Rockies have 1 hit in the first inning and 2/3. First 2 games of the series, they've had double digits in hits. They had 17 yesterday for season high.
That fastball right there, 96 miles an hour.
Wow. Just again, 2-1. The word we get from the broadcasters for the Marlins, this guy very competitive. Urania, good control. He really challenges hitters. I think we've seen that so far.
And that's what I want to see from a pitcher. I want to see a competitive pitcher, somebody that embraces the mound.
Off speed again and had Rosario out front.
I mean, every time I think of a pitcher, kind of the pitcher in my head is like an Oral Hershiser, the Bulldog, or a Dave Stewart, where they just stared you down and they challenged you, and it was a battle.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He got him on 3 breaking balls. 1-2-3 second inning for the Rockies. We'll head to the third. 2-0 Miami. determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Eyesight review, I could use one of those.
Yeah, I'm almost hearing from your voice that you're ready to go sit in the rock pile with your shirt off.
How did you know that? I didn't mention that to anybody.
See you drooling over the sun.
Martin Prado leads off, and then this guy, Giancarlo Stanton, is on deck for the Marlins. Prado with a single and a run scored first inning. Kyle Kendrick bounced back nicely in the second with a 1-2-3. Prado, like he normally does, takes the first pitch. This one low and outside. Prado out of Venezuela, came up with the Braves. He has played for the Yankees, for the Diamondbacks, and now these days for the Marlins. Picked up in a trade from the Yankees during the offseason. Again, missed away. Low and outside. Both pitches in the dirt, 2-0.
Well, we asked the Marlins broadcast booth. Nathan Eovaldi was one of the players traded for Martin Prado. And Eovaldi's pitched okay with the Yankees. And I said, because of all the injuries that the Marlins have had with their starting staff, do you miss Eovaldi? He said, for Martin Prado, no. Really? Not even close, because he gives that great quality at bat. Puts somebody on base for Giancarlo to be able to have potential to score more runs.
3-0 pitch. You'd think he'd be taken. He is. It's 3-1. An 8-game hitting streak going now with that base hit back in the first.
And to keep talking about Prado, it's a guy that they feel has been a quiet leader. He's really come over and has brought professionalism to a pretty young Marlins club.
3-1 is off the end of his bat. That's a fair ball grabbed by Rosario, and he'll take care of things at first base. Good pitch there. 3-0 on the at bat, and then Kendrick came back and got him.
Well, and that ball hit to Rosario had quite a bit of English. I was almost expecting him to go side to side. Rosario kind of dancing with the baseball to figure out where it was going to go, because as a catcher, you don't see that. When has Rosario ever seen a ball roll to him like that?
He is adapting. The instincts look better and better to me anyway each game over there defensively. Here's Stanton. Stanton struck out his first time. One of 2 strikeouts today for Kendrick. 8 strikeouts in the series now for Stanton. Leads the league in that category. Also leads the league in RBIs. Dangerous, dangerous hitter. And that one's fouled away. Strike one. And just 3 for 27 against Kyle Kendrick in his career.
I love that we're showing the probability of what different pitches he can get. He's still expecting fastball, but as a hitter, these are the things that go through our head.
Next pitch is popped up down the left field line. Giving chase is Barnes. So is Tulowitzki. So is, Tulo's going to take over. I thought that Arenado was going to grab it. Tulo said, I'll take that one. It's out number 2.
3 ball hogs all playing 3 flies up right there. Right back to elementary school where the 3 of them are going after it. Tulo wins that battle. But that's right in no man's land. Barnes going hard at it. You can see Nolan. That'd be a tough play for Nolan. We've seen him make that play. Tulo has the better angle. I got it. 3 flies up. So Tulo needs 2 more and he wins.
Brandon Barnes having to play so deep for Stanton. Couldn't get there in time, but Tulowitzki taking care of business. So 2 outs, and now 5 straight retired by Kyle Kendrick after that first inning, 4-hit inning for the Marlins. Here's Justin Bohr, fouled out to first base. First time up, strike 1. Justin Bohr played college baseball at George Mason University. Had an older brother that he played for the same school for a couple of years. They were teammates. Made a great 1-2 combination. Ball and 1 strike. As you can see, he's a real big guy. And the Marlins are a little concerned about his staying in shape and keeping weight off. He was this size in college, we were told, as well. And the Marlins trying to maybe trim him down a little bit.
Well, if he hits, he can be however big he wants to be.
True.
Guys that hit with no batting gloves. Every single guy I've seen that hits with no batting gloves can hit. He's an excellent hitter. I think of Moises Alou. A couple years ago, Nate Schierholtz was the last guy. But they're dangerous hitters.
Pitch missed high and in, 2-1. Well, you look at the numbers for this guy, 77 at bats. He's got 5 homers. So there's obviously some pop in that bat.
There is. He really reminds me, in a parallel story, of Ben Paulson. 2 guys kind of maybe not top prospects, guys that play with chip on their shoulders.
Against the shift, there's a ground ball to first. Rosario's got this one. He'll get the runner at first base well ahead of the tag. So that's a 1-2-3 third inning for Kyle Kendrick. We'll come back in a moment. 2-0 Marlins. If the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. So between 4 and 6, about the time you're heading home, Billy, today. And the Rockies scored 10 yesterday.
I'll be stopping by on the way to the airport. I'm leaving for New York City to do the draft. So
that's right.
I'll go grab some tacos and probably make for an interesting flight. I'll be nice and full.
You're going to announce the Rockies' first-round draft pick.
Yes, I am.
Picks, correct?
Yes, I am.
Well, what an honor. I had heard that. I hadn't talked to you about that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I am honored by it.
Are you some sort of good luck charm or something? Or why would they pick you? I'm just joking. I'd pick you. No, that'll be fun.
I might pick myself on the pick, and I'll take whatever draft slotted money it is.
Nick Hundley leads off for the Rockies, and let that one foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, your alma mater, Cal Santa Barbara's got a pitcher that well, not only the Rockies, but a lot of teams looking for.
Yeah, Dylan Tate, and talked about this yesterday with Drew. If it was up to me, I would do it just because it's from my alma mater, but that's not my call. I wish I could make a pick. Be like, hey, guess what? I just took a gaucho.
I would say that no matter who they pick, you would just announce that guy.
Yeah,
I mean you can always change it later.
They'll be like, actually, we took somebody else, but Spilly announced Dylan Tate.
Show me some video of him. He's a hard thrower. Popped up. It's on the infield. Catcher Real Muto calling for it, going to be called off by Prado, and he'll make the grab. Some more details on that draft, which starts tomorrow. Tomorrow is round 1. The Rockies have the 3rd pick overall and 4 in the first 40. This is an important draft.
Huge draft, and what you can see right here, because they have so many picks, the Rockies draft pool money is a little bit over $13.9 million, and that is slotted money. So any pick that they have, if they're not able to sign any of those picks, they lose money from that slotted draft. So the first overall pick with the 3rd overall, really, they can spend up to $6.2 million for that slot. That's the allotment of there. So there is strategy involved for the Rockies when they look at this pick, because with that money pool, if you start going over the slotted money, and every pick in the first 10 rounds is slotted, So if you go over it, as due to the competitive balance with the CBA a couple years ago, they really felt that the owners wanted slotted picks, so it would allow teams like the Yankees, who typically have overpaid for prospects deeper in the draft, that it would hurt them. So if you go over slot, if you go over your draft pool money, there's taxes and then losses of draft picks.
The second time in 3 seasons the Rockies have that third pick. Took John Gray a couple years ago. Pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Barnes. 2-0. The Rockies trail in the bottom of the third. They have managed but 1 hit. The Rockies have had double-digit hits in 5 straight ball games, all here at home. Brandon Barnes, 333 on the year. No homers, 5 RBIs. 2-2 pitch, just missed. I think that the pitcher, Urania, thought he had strike 3.
Urania's been competing. You can see it. He's on the mound. He's working fast. He is not scared of pitching at Coors Field. He's been running his fastball well above what he normally throws at 96 miles an hour.
Foul tipped, held on by the catcher. Strikeout number 2 on the day for Urania.
That fastball at 95 miles an hour. The rooftop is the place to be during baseball season. Arrive early for pregame festivities and beer specials before first pitch.
Continues to be an ever popular spot, the rooftop here at Coors Field, and it is busy this afternoon up there.
It's a beautiful day. The sun shines out.
Now Kendrick takes strike 1 from his counterpart. 2 outs and nobody on. So after a base hit by LeMahieu in the first inning, 6 straight retired by this rookie pitcher, Urania. Ball 1 strike on Kyle. 4 for 22 on the year at the plate is the Rockies pitcher.
Well, yesterday, Chris Russin had a huge drag bunt that really set up that inning where the Rockies scored a bunch of runs.
Speaking of Chris Russin, what a shot in the arm he has been for this team.
He's been great. 2 games, 2 7-innings pitched, 2 quality starts. Gives the Rockies a really nice chance to maybe stay in that rotation. We'll see what happens.
Swing and a miss. There's strike 3 with Kyle Kendrick. So back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Jose Urania. 3-0 Marlins. It is 3 pitchers in Rockies history gone 7+ innings, 2 or few runs allowed in the first 2 starts. One of them, 2015, Mr. Chris Russin. He's done a terrific job.
He has. And you talk about a guy that's really been a shot in the arm, and there's been several guys from Albuquerque to come up and really make a mark at the big league level. Cutter in, change up. He really knows how to pitch. We've seen that coming from Chicago from the Cubs as a waiver wire pickup. It's a great pickup to add depth for the Rockies. This is a team that coming out of spring training had Jordan Lyles, Jhoulys Chacin gets released. You look at Jorge De La Rosa with the growing injury. Tyler Matzek back in AAA trying to find mechanics. And for guys like Chris Russin and a Chad Bettis and a David Hale to come up and make the mark that they have. I mean, I'll give you a number right here. 29 games started from Kyle Kendrick, De La Rosa, and Eddie Butler. 6 quality starts from those 3 guys. And they have been here all year. From David Hale, Chris Russin, and Chad Bettis, 9 games started between the 3 of them. 7 quality starts.
Exactly what the Rockies needed. They got from their minor league system with pitching. Marcell Ozuna leads it off. He had a 2-run single back in the first innings. They've driven in both the runs, and a breaking ball is swung on and missed. Strike 1. Ozuna swinging the bat well. He had a big year a year ago. He had 23 homers. He has 3 this year, but the batting average there, the power numbers are not quite there yet. That one is bounced to third base. Big hop for Nolan Arenado. 1 down. So Kyle Kendrick is settled in nicely after that first inning. 1-2-3 second, 1-2-3 third. First out here in the 4th. There's the view from the rooftop. I've got to confess, I've never been up there. Spilly, have you?
I have. It's beautiful up there, but I'm scared of heights. So I go up there for a second and I come spring right back down.
One time for 10 seconds. That was it for Spielberg. So
yep.
No, it's a great place.
It was like around Major League Baseball, we visit so many cities, and if on time off, I will go and visit landmarks in every city. I visited the Sears Tower. I don't know why I choose tall buildings when I'm frightened by them. The CN Tower in Toronto.
Ooh, yeah.
So the genius behind it made a glass bottom. And that's where the kids will go and sit on it. And I cannot tell you how many parents will be like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And the kids are like, come get me then. That's fine, just sit there.
I think the reason you do that, you're trying to get over that fear. And you're just battling. You're taking it head on. You think?
No.
That's not it.
It's not.
See, now you could be right there and not have to look over the edge, right? And
that's
not be scared.
Yeah, that's probably right where I'd like to be. Right.
But when you take a left and look over the field, that's when Spilly gets scared. Right there.
Yeah, that's when I go. Ah.
1-2 on Christian Yelich. And pitch high and outside. 2-2 on Yelich. He's off to a slow start this year. He had a great rookie year. He actually made his debut 2 years ago here at Coors Field. But a good career against Kyle Kendrick was 7 for 16. Out of Southern California, first round pick a few years back for the Marlins. And time given to Yelich at the plate. The 2-time Miami Marlins minor league player of the year. And won a Gold Glove last year in left field.
First one for the Marlins. Frank Menechino was talking to me about Christian Yelich, and here's a guy that has been battling, figuring out who he is at the major league level. I think he's a guy that wants to hit with more power, but he really doesn't have it. See ground ball to DJ right there. It's okay to be what you are. If what you are is a guy that hits the ball opposite field, you hit 290, you maybe hit 5-6 homers, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think Christian, being a young player at the major league level, you get a 7-year contract, you want to maybe be more than what you are. So really trying to figure out how to hit behind the ball and almost be the play, figure out what type of player you are.
It goes back to what we heard from Tulowitzki a while back. This is just a really difficult game to master and to stay at this level at. JT Realmuto, the catcher, is the hitter. 2 outs and nobody on for Kyle Kendrick. Hasn't allowed a hit since Yelich had that single back in the first. Realmuto flied out to center to end that first inning. And that's outside, 1-1. Tremendous high school football player, this guy, Realmuto. He was a quarterback. He had committed to play at Oklahoma State, both baseball and football. And then Miami drafted him.
Would have been a Cowboy.
Yep. Breaking ball is foul. 1-2.
Brian Jones, video trainer or video coach of the Rockies, is a Cowboy. I always feel sorry for him, but then they started playing a lot better the last couple of years as far as their football goes, and now I'm kind of jealous. I don't have football at UC Santa Barbara. I'm still looking to adopt a college football team.
I say you put all that money in the program and started that football team at Santa Barbara. 1-2 is popped up down the right field line, and Cargo's got a beat on this one. Going to be another 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Kendrick. Well, he has really settled in since the 2-run first inning. Led to the bottom of the frame. Rockies down 2-0 to the Marlins.
And here's what his teammates think about his bobblehead.
This is kind of a Tulo pose, like as he finishes his swing. His face looks a little sad, like he's missed this pitch.
He should be happy. It looks like he's got to, hit the ball pretty well right here. So I don't know why he's so mad.
It looks good. That's his finish. His face looks old though. That's the only problem with it. He's not old.
I'm old. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, I think that's right on with that.
Well, the other similarity is that the bobblehead may or may not look like Walt Weiss. So I asked Walt. Walt took one look at it and said, oh, yeah, that kind of does look like me. I'm sorry for Tulo. What do you guys think? Do you see a little Walt in that?
I don't know. We got 3 different bobbleheads up here. We have mullet bobblehead.
We have the nodding. Am I old?
They're all going to nod. They're all bobblehead.
This one nods more than the others.
This one's pretty good though.
Yeah,
and I think they're right.
Yeah.
He does have the angry Tulo face.
Yeah, he does. That's the Charlie Blackman's right. He looks a little sad, like he missed his pitch there.
And then this is Stumpy Tulo, Garden Gnome, which is pretty cool.
Call it gnome, correct? Is that the correct word for that?
How do you say that?
Gnome.
How do you say it?
Gnome.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm
there it is.
terrible with words.
The Tulowitzki collection. There's a base hit to right field for Charlie Blackman. So just the second hit in the ball game for the Rockies. The other DJ LeMahieu way back in the first inning. So maybe a sign of some things to come in the inning for the Rockies. Blackman's leadoff single. DJ LeMahieu has got that other hit for the Rockies today. Do you ever have a Spielborg's bobblehead or not?
Nope. Never had one. I have a figurine from the Madison Mallards.
Do you really?
Yeah. The Madison Mallards figurine, and I'm diving for a baseball, and the figurine has me missing the ball by feet.
Does it really?
Yeah. So it's perfect.
It's perfect. Huh?
Yeah, it's fitting. Yeah. Diving, but I'm not even close to catching the baseball.
Charlie Blackman leads the team in stolen bases. Had a throw back to first. Charlie's taking a good lead. Oh, they got their bobbleheads everywhere in the ballpark, including up on the rooftop. I think it looks good. It sure looks a lot better than some of the other ones we've seen.
Yeah, there have been some bobbleheads that look nothing like the That's a pretty good two-low. He has a good finish with the elbow guard, eye black. That's pretty close.
I like it. 1-0 to LeMahieu is a called strike. Got two of the top second basemen in baseball offensively playing in this ball game. D. Gordon, of course, for the Marlins, and DJ LeMahieu for the Rockies. Look at 84 hits. So many more hits than LeMahieu, but the on-base percentage better for DJ this year.
And that on-base percentage hitting either 8th, and now really with Walt using DJ primarily in that 2-hole spot. That's impressive to have a guy hitting second that is nearly getting on base 40% of the time with the cargo and the two-low.
There's a looper into right field. Stanton's going to get to this one, and Charlie Blackmon will have to get back to first base. Well, that's what DJ does well, hits the ball to right, but there he hit it too well right at Stanton for the first out. Jose Urena, 0-2 on the year and a high ERA, but he shut the Rockies down so far in this one. We're 1 out in the 4th inning.
Before he came up from New Orleans, he was 4-0 with a 1.21 ERA. He led all of the Pacific Coast League in those 6 starts. 48-37 career with a 3.47 ERA. He's starting to run up that fastball up in the 94, 95, 96 zone right now. So he's starting to feel more and more comfortable.
Now Tulowitzki and a bouncing ball, base hit to left field for Troy. Stopping at second base is Charlie Blackmon. So 3 hits in the afternoon, 2 in this inning for the Rockies. First and second, 1 down.
Well, Tulo with the toe tap, you can see he's starting to get more and more into the legs, which is what we want to see. We want to see him get back there because it allows his hands. You can see he does not move forward, so the body's not moving forward. He can sit back and then get that swing off. Yes, it's a ground ball through the 6-hole, but that is a very consistent, very powerful swing, which can push that baseball right through the 6-hole.
Now Cargo bounced out against the shift to the third baseman. Prado is playing on the right side of the infield. First and second for the Rockies. Pitch outside, ball 1 to Cargo. He's hit 8 of his last 9 ball games. We documented that earlier. 5 multi-hit games in his last 9. Average before the series, before the homestand, was 203, 238 now. And again outside, 2-0. Hitters count now for Cargo.
Well, this is the situation that I wanted to see. I wanted to see if Urena could pitch with runners in scoring position. This kind of puts pressure on him. Let's see what type of pitcher he is. It's a lot easier when nobody's on base. So far this season, 7 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
2-0. He laid off that. 3 balls and no strikes. Nolan Arenado waiting on deck.
Another interesting number for me with runners in scoring position for the Rockies. They lead all of baseball with a .310 batting average. But what surprises me is that they're 22nd in the major leagues in opportunities with runners in scoring position.
Isn't that interesting? 3-0 is taken for a strike. So 3-1 to Cargo with first and second.
So yes, they're hitting with runners in scoring position. Good job. But you're also not getting into scoring position enough to really bring that average down and really get an opportunity to score even more runs.
3-1 pitch. Caught the outside corner. Cargo thought he had ball 4.
Well, he takes a lot off this fastball. I think it's a changeup, and it's right on the edge. It almost runs back a little bit. You can see the overhead cam. Real Muto does a good job sticking that. That's as close as it comes. Not the pitcher looking for 3-1. You're expecting fastball. But he takes a little bit off of it, throws off Cargo just enough.
There's not moving and fouled away.
He follows up with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right under Cargo's hands. That's a good sequence of pitches right there.
Yeah, he had gone outside the previous couple and came back inside. Real Muto is the catcher. He, after that pitch was fouled away, he jumped out of his crouch and ran to the mound. He wanted to talk to Urena real badly. Rockies down 2-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. They're threatening here. First and second, 1 down. Blackman at second, Tulowitzki at first. Both of those guys singled. LeMahieu lined to right in between them. 3-2 pitch. There's ball 4. The bases are loaded for Nolan Arenado.
That was almost the identical 3-1 pitch. It ran off the opposite way, so that ball had a little more sink. The 3-1 pitch, I felt, cut back just enough to look like it was a strike. That one running away, really pushed off the strike zone, but it's still a quality 3-2 pitch right here. You can see the ball's running away. Not going to get strike 3 on that ball.
Tell you what, Billy, so many times early in this year, Cargo chased that pitch.
He has.
He doesn't do it this time.
He doesn't, and he's been taking better takes. If that makes any sense, he's taking the ball better.
Now bases loaded, and Nolan Arenado leads the team in RBIs. The pitch hit well to left, but not well enough off the end of his bat. Yelich will catch it, tagging at third. Blackman, he will score, and the Rockies are on the board. I think Nolan got his pitch just off the end of the bat slightly, gets the RBI. 2-1 Miami.
Well, I'll take that any day of the week. At least you get a run in. Yes, he would love to have done some damage with that pitch, especially if it was a ball that he feels he can handle. The first pitch, it's a slider that doesn't slide. It's just up in the zone, right off the end of the bat. You can see Nolan's reaction. He probably wants that pitch back. He's listening to hear if it broke it or not. No, it's good. Put it back in the rack.
22 RBIs in his last 14 games now for Nolan. So 2 away, first and second still for the Rockies, and Willeen Rosario struck out with a series of sliders back in the second inning. And that's a ground ball hit to Prado. He'll go to second base for the Force, and that'll take care of the Rockies' 4th inning. But they get on the board. They have cut the lead in half. We have played 4 at Coors Field. 2-1 in Miami. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Sloan's Lake in the Denver metro area. Beautiful day on this June the 7th. Still got some clouds, but we'll take this kind of day anytime with the spring and summer that we've had here in this Denver metro area. Good to have you on board this afternoon. The Rockies trailing 2-1. Kyle Kendrick giving up both runs back in the first inning when the Marlins had their 4 hits. They have not had a base runner since that first inning, so Kendrick settled in nicely, right?
He settled in, and it was one pitch to Ozuna. Otherwise, he's potentially hasn't given up a run. So you look at Kendrick, he's settled down nicely. I think when you look at what he's done, don't let the ERA fool you. You mentioned it earlier. He gets the Rockies into the late in the game, and if he gives you 4 or 5 runs, it's still at Coors Field. It's a great situation to be in.
Chavarria tries to bunt and fouls one back over the screen into the crowd behind home plate. Strike 1. Lined out to center his first time up. The Cuban shortstop defected from the country in 2009.
I think that foul ball bunt went off the top of a fan's head. And luckily, it was very slow. It bounced off it.
Next pitch popped up down the right field line, giving chase a trio of Rockies. It is Rosario making the catch in foul ground. 1 down.
If you don't already receive Hot Rocks emails, you're missing out on the best ticket deals around. The only way to receive these emails is to become a Rockies registered user at Rockies.com. Rosario fighting off DJ for that fly ball. He's really feeling that defense, huh? He's starting to become a ball hog. I love it.
He's getting very comfortable over there. You can see it in the body language. Here's the pitcher, Urania. Strike 1 to him. Struck out the first time up. Kendrick has 2 strikeouts. Stanton he struck out, and this guy. Lined up for Kendrick on the pitch. And it's a bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, I don't want to make light of a fan getting hit in the head during a baseball game, especially with what has gone on in Boston. And from what I've heard is that the person that got hit by a bat a couple days ago is in critical condition, is now unstable.
Trying to bunt is the pitcher, and he bunted right through it. 1 and 2.
And as a former player and being part of the collective bargaining agreement years ago, a lot of players, we voiced the opinion that we really feel that the netting should be covering from the end of the dugout on both sides, so the netting would protect a lot more fans.
Swing and a miss with a pitch in the dirt, and that is strike 3. So twice Urania struck out, 2 down in the 5th inning.
So you can see the current netting. Right now it covers basically behind home plate. And in Japan, the netting will go from all the way down the left field line, down the right field line. So all the fans in the bowl would be covered by a net. Right now, in the major league level, you can see it. It's not a ton. I personally would like to see it from dugout to dugout.
You see a lot of foul balls shot over those dugouts right into the crowd. The incident Billy's talking about in Boston was a broken bat, part of a bat, but boy, the foul balls come racing at you when you're sitting down with a dugout.
I get the fan experience. You want to be close enough to see the game and not have the distraction of having the net there. I get it. I understand. But at the same time, if I had my opportunity to big sit up the middle, if I have my opportunity to sit anywhere, or especially with my family, I would probably shy away from those spots.
D. Gordon singles with 2 outs, and now Martin Prado will stroll up to the plate. It's a second hit in the game for Gordon, so the league's leading hitter extends another hitting streak. Now he got a lot of speed over at first base. Got to be careful with this guy.
And Prado hits well against Kyle Kendrick, so situation, we know Stanton hasn't fared well against Kendrick, but he'd be the last guy I want to see with guys on base with 2 outs.
Play. And Kendrick's got a pretty quick move over to first base we've seen this year, but Gordon is back. Number 2 in the National League in stolen bases behind Billy Hamilton.
And Charlie Blackmon's not far off that list either. He's been. There he goes.
There goes Gordon. Pitch out. Throw to second, and got him at second base. He's hit right by the bag. Doodle's got to chase him down, but the Rockies guessed right on the pitch out. That takes care of the Marlins in the 5th inning. Great throw, by the way, from Nick Hundley. We shouldn't be surprised at that. All that speed, but a pitch out takes care of business. Ozuna driving in both runs for his team way back in the first inning. Nolan Arenado with an RBI sacrifice fly, 22 of those in 14 games. And Kyle Kendrick, after that first inning, has really pitched well against the Marlins. Bottom of the fifth inning, the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Rockies, starting with Nick Hundley, who popped out to third his first time.
Nick Hundley, between him and Michael McHenry, one of the best catching duos offensively in the game and defensively. I'll give him that. You can see right now Francisco Cervelli with the Pirates has hit .331. Nick Hundley right behind him with that .302 batting average.
I think when you put those two catchers together defensively, other than maybe the throwing arm McHenry, which isn't as strong as Hundley, you got a great combination.
Great combo. They call it great game. They take charge. They command the pitchers. I mean, working together, talking with Fort, talking with Nick. I mean, these guys are literally, they're one player. I mean, especially with the staff, you want to be able to pitch to your catcher without missing a beat. And both of these guys work so well.
And down the right field line, this one could be trouble. It is a foul ball. Just kept slicing for Hundley, and Stanton wasn't going to get it in the air anyway. And it's a long strike two for Hundley. Rockies tomorrow night start a 3-game set against the Cardinals. David Hale's going to get the start for the Rockies. We mentioned the job he's done. Terrific job so far for the Rockies. John Lackey on the Cardinals side. De La Rosa Tuesday and Chad Bettis Wednesday. 2-2 on Hundley. And a ground ball hit the hole left side. Echeverria, long throw to first in time to get the out. Boy,
that's
terrific.
A great play. You're right. Boy, and Echeverria almost looks like he lost a little footing there on the back of the grass. He was still able to put a lot on that baseball. You can see here he goes to try to set his right foot. You can see it slip and still be able to throw it not only on the money, but with that much velocity to be able to get Nick Hundley, who runs well for a catcher. Watch his right foot. See how it slips right there? I mean, he's lucky he didn't hit a hot dog vendor because of that losing the footing.
One of the guys would have skipped that ball over there, too. He didn't need to. Brandon Barnes, the hitter, one down for the Rockies in the fifth inning. Barnes hitting .327 for the year. And that's a called strike, 1-1. This is his 14th start this year. The Rockies are 9-4 in his 13. Make it 10-4, but down a run here. Pitch in the dirt, 2-1.
A joke with Barnes. Saw him yesterday. He was the only guy in the lineup not to get a hit. Hey, bud, someone has to make the outs. But today, you know, you don't want to be the guy 2 days in a row. So I'm cheering for him to get at least 2 or 3 knocks today.
Swings through that offering, 2-2. Rockies were 3-4 against the Marlins a year ago. A lot of success here at Coors Field, 49-31 all time. That's upstairs to Barnes, who you just saw hit right-handers very, very well. Always has done that. Giving the team a real spark offensively and with the glove since the call-up.
Yes, he has.
Without Corey Dickerson just about every day out in left field for this guy. Payoff pitch. Fouled away.
There's certain guys in the big leagues where if their numbers are great, right now Brandon Barnes is at .327, but it's the intangibles that he brings, the life that he brings to the clubhouse, the energy he brings every single day, the ability to come off the bench.
Ball four.
Ability to take a walk.
Yep. Now you get the pitcher up there able to put a bunt down, hopefully.
Watch every out-of-market game live and in HD on more than 400 devices with MLB.com TV Premium. The #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Every night on every device.
Well done. Kendrick puts a bunt down, but right back to pitcher, and they get the out at second base as well. The double play.
Wow, Echeverria have an inning.
And that takes care of the Rockies in the fifth inning. They get a runner at first base with a one down. Can't do anything with it. Walt Weiss is just going to make sure this one should be challenged. Don't think they're going to do that. So still 2-1. The Rockies are trailing. We'll head to the 6th when we come back on Root Sports. The day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROXWIN, ROXWIN at papajohns.com. Let's go back and look at that double play ball, Spilly, that ended that inning in the 1-6-3. Close play at second base. I think the right call here by the umpire.
There he is stretching out. Yes, Brandon Barnes is out. But again, Echeverria, that's off his right foot. He never planted his left foot. And look at how much he's able to put velocity-wise to get it over to D. Gordon. That's some kind of arm from shortstop. I bet you if he gets on the mound right now, he could throw 96 miles an hour.
Good play by the pitcher, too, Urania. That's not a throw that pitchers make all that often, but right on the money. So top of the 6th, 2, 3, and 4 coming up against Kyle Kendrick. He made that last out, so Kyle just finishing his warm-up pitches. For the Marlins, last night's loss stopped a 3-game win streak for those guys. They have won 5 of their last 8 under this manager, Dan Jennings, after dropping 16 of their previous 21 games. So playing a little bit better at least the last week to week and a half for the Marlins. They'll head on to Toronto after today to play a 3-game set north of the borders. Mike Redmond was the manager before Dan Jennings, and here are the comparisons, and not a real big difference, I guess, between the two.
No, and there was an opportunity for Redmond during some of those games. There was a couple games that Cishek blew that they really felt that if the Marlins win those games, that ball looks like it's going to go right out of play. If the Marlins win those games, maybe Mike Redmond's still the manager right now.
Steve Cishek, who has been a terrific closer the last several years, in the minors now. He had so many problems. And he's not even with a big league club anymore.
I mean, that's just the business. I mean, it's a result-oriented business. Jamie Quirk used to say it. It's not the do-good league, or it's not the try-hard league. It's a do-good league.
0-1 to Martin Prado is fouled away again about the same spot. So 0-2. Prado 1 for 2 today. I just think it's really difficult for a team when they lose their closer early in the year. It's just tough to recover.
It is hard because those games are games that you feel like you have won, and then to lose them and lose them in dramatic fashion, tough to recover from.
Rockies have done that with Adam Ottavino, their potential closer, and certainly if he bounces back, what you expect him to do, going to be the closer of the future for the Rockies.
And I think with the Marlins and with the Rockies are fortunate. Not only did you have LaTroy Hawkins closing, you have Rafael Betancourt that could do it, and then you have John Axford.
It's to Prado, ground ball hit to shortstop. Troy Tulowitzki's got this one. One away. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton has popped out to short and struck out 0 for 2 in the ball game. The Rockies have kept him down other than one swing in game 1. And going to continue to do that here. Cal Kendrick has done a masterful job over the years against this guy. High and tight to Stanton. Probably not surprising. Ryan would look at this guy. He was a great high school football player. He was a tight end linebacker type.
Not surprising. When you're that big and that strong, I mean, football's the obvious choice to play.
1-0 is inside 2-0. He actually committed to play football at USC, and then Marlins drafted him in the second round. There's the size, 6'6", 242. What a talented player. What an athlete. 2-0 pitch is bounced right to Arenado on 2 hops. 2 down. Stanton 0 for 3 against Kyle Kendrick today.
Sticking on cue with how well Kyle Kendrick's been able to pitch to Stanton coming into today's game. Stanton has struggled pretty mightily against Kendrick. He had a 115 batting average against him. So with the 0 for 2, 0 for 3, he's dropped down pretty good. Even farther. What's below 100? Is there a line below 100? We know there's a 200 Mendoza line.
We should come up with one.
Corey Sullivan line.
I thought that name might come up at some point today on our broadcast during the game rather than the pre or post game. Oh. Justin Bour, strike 1. He's 0 for 2. Slugging first baseman. Wide open upright stance. Low and in, 1-1.
I got teased earlier today from the Rockies guys. Justin Morneau's paying attention to the game today, and I was talking about how a lot of hitters without batting gloves can hit. Well, he said Doug Mientkiewicz was a defensive first baseman and hit with no batting gloves, so not quite true. But I'm glad he's keeping us in check. That's what we need. Without checks and balances.
The Rockies have put the shift on in the infield for this left-handed hitter. And Arenado playing like a shortstop. There's the shift with Tulowitzki right field side of second. 2-1 on Bour. And now 3-1.
Well, and on that note, since Morneau is listening, we are hoping that you are feeling better. We'd like to see you pretty soon, bud.
Absolutely. Kendrick ready. 3-1 pitch to Justin Bour. And there's ball 4. A 2-out walk drawn by Justin Bour, and the inning continues for Miami. Let's check the injury update. LaTroy Hawkins is going to pitch again today for AAA Albuquerque. Corey Dickerson is in Scottsdale at extended spring, going to get some at-bats there. And then Justin Morneau continues on that concussion list. So those 3 were hoping to get back sometime soon. I think Hawkins will be first. Dickerson, I think, pretty close. And we hope that Justin Morneau is not too far behind. Marcell Ozuna's got the 2 RBIs for his team, and a ground ball backhanded by LeMahieu. Flips to Tulowitzki at second for the force. Good solid play again by the Gold Glover, DJ LeMahieu. Middle of 6, the Rockies still down a run. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com and by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. With Ryan's Billboards, Jerry Simmel back here at Coors Field. A good ball game, 2-1 Miami. Marlins scored 2 in the top of the first inning, and that lead has held up on a beautiful afternoon at Coors Field in downtown Denver. We had a rain delay again yesterday, hour and 11 minutes. No rain today, no rain in the forecast either. We are loving that fact.
You know what this inning is, Jerry?
Tell me.
It's the inning they score a lot of runs.
All right. Top of the order for the Rockies, so good opportunity. Charlie Blackmon's got a base hit today, 1 for 2. To tip our hat, at least to this point in the game, Jose Urena has done a terrific job against the Rockies. Unintimidated so far in the game.
Not at all. And that was what I was really curious. It's going to be his 5th start in the major leagues, or 5th appearance in the major leagues. 72 pitches through 6 innings.
Blackmon's count 2 balls and 1 strike. Charlie bounced out to second, then singled.
Well, the growth of the pitcher at the major league level is when he can throw off-speed pitches in hitters' counts for strikes.
And a one-hopper right to the second baseman. Tough hop, but D. Gordon's got it. And he'll throw to first for the out. And we saw on Friday night, Charlie Blackmon hit a ground ball to the second baseman 5 times. He's done it twice today.
Now, one of them was almost a base hit that D. Gordon made look rather easy, which was a really difficult play up the middle.
So here's DJ, 1 for 2. He's hit the ball hard twice. He singled and then he lined to right. Stanton right at Giancarlo Stanton last time up. High and tight with that one. National League batting leaders, D. Gordon and then Goldschmidt and then this guy. So 2 second basemen both playing against each other today. Adrian Gonzalez not too far behind. Strike called, making it 1-1. In your mind, Ryan, what's made DJ such a better hitter than in years past?
You know what? He made a couple minor tweaks with how he loads. Troy Tulowitzki kind of worked on this little load with him to really create a little more leverage. DJ's 6'4". I mean, he has the long levers to be able to drive the ball opposite field, even drive the ball out of the ballpark. And I think part of what DJ's issue was that he was still such a contact hitter, just trying to put the barrel on the bat rather than drive through it. And I think part of his little hand twitch, you can see him load it up, gave him a little bit better timing and a lot more what we call stay through. Keeps the bat in the zone a little bit longer and creates a lot more backspin. Now we've seen him hit the opposite field homer this year. We've seen him drive the ball to right field.
2-2 pitches swung on and missed. Boy, a fastball at 96 thrown by DJ LeMahieu. Urena has been impressive. That's 2 outs. Got now on the afternoon 4 strikeouts. We'll see if Troy Tulowitzki can keep this inning going. Tulo today is 1 for 2. Hit into a double play and then singled the 4th inning. Fouls that one back. The Rockies had a couple of singles in the 4th and the sacrifice fly from Arenado to get their 1 run. And you're going to go back to the 1st inning for the Marlins to see their 2 runs. Ozuna with a 2-run single. So Tulowitzki now on the homestand, 9 for 17. Breaking ball missed. Wednesday at 5 RBIs a game against the Dodgers. RBI total of 29. That came up in a hurry.
He can put up numbers fast.
Next pitch just bounced to 3rd. Prado's got the hop he likes. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning again for Urena. He has been awful impressive in a tough place to pitch on the road. Still 2-1 Marlins. Eddie Butler. Let me highlight the best plays of the week. All that after the game here on Root Sports on Rockies Weekly. Wait, that's not a golf ball. Was that you in that golf tournament?
Yeah, that's it.
Are you good?
I'm terrible. You know what? I had a blast, though. I played with Frank from the Tavern. Yeah, the guys from the Tavern, they were awesome. I had a great time golfing with them. They gave me some golf balls that if I take them to the Tavern, I'll get a free draft beer.
No kidding.
Yeah.
With the outing right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Christian Yelich leads off against Kyle Kendrick. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Kendrick with pitch number 74 thrown there. 1 for 2 for Yelich today. And the pitch, and this one is playable in left center field for Charlie Blackmon. Since that first inning, Kyle Kendrick has really made some good pitches. And there's another one right there to Yelich, 1 down.
He's working fast, working efficient. 75 pitches through 6 1/3 right now. I've seen him throw the ball more up in the zone today than I have in previous starts, and by design. He's been throwing some cutters up and in, really tying up the left-handed hitters. Talked about earlier this year that cutter he was throwing to lefties was getting hit hard. I remember it started at Arizona.
Yep.
The Diamondbacks really teed off on it. Tonight it's been very effective.
Real Muto will fly one to center field as well. Charlie Blackmon lumbers in for this one. He makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Kyle Kendrick here in the 7th inning. He's given up 1 hit since the first inning. And he had 4 given in that first inning and the 2 runs. He just needs some run support now. You saw Matt Capps warming up in the Miami bullpen.
And for the season, 3.5 runs per game scored for Kendrick. So he hasn't been getting the typical Rockies scoring outburst. So, I mean, again, you look at his record. It's not pretty, but it could be different. I mean, he's gone into the 6th inning, 7th inning 5 times. So he's giving an opportunity for the Rockies to win.
Echeverria, the shortstop, will 1 the count. That missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's 0 for 2. So 2 runs on 5 hits for the Marlins. 1 since the first inning, and then 1 run on 3 hits for the Rockies. You see Ichiro is on deck. Should be it for the pitcher. And Oriña's heck of a day today. That pitch is fouled away. Just protective swing there. 1 and 2. This looks today more like the Kyle Kendrick you saw on opening day in Milwaukee and a couple other starts. And hot and cold up and down, but today he's been terrific. Keeping the pitch count down. Here's number 80. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A pitch in the dirt. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Kendrick. When you go back that first inning when he had some hard hit balls, it has not been the case since that time for the Rockies right-hander. Well, what a great tradition on Sunday afternoons in Major League Baseball. It's God Bless America, and then you get the 7th inning stretch with Take Me Out the ball game. But I just think this is one of the great traditions starting after 9/11. And we'll have another one today. Staff Sergeant Sean Heading will be singing the national anthem here. I'm sorry, God Bless America here at Coors Field. And what a day to do it as well. Sunshiny skies. Great weather. The only thing we're lacking so far is the Rockies are trailing in this game, but it's just 2-1. We'll get God Bless America. We'll get Take Me Out the ball game. We'll have the Rockies come up in the bottom of the 7th inning as well on this Sunday afternoon at Coors Field. Good crowd on hand too, and they will stand and pay tribute to America.
Sergeant Urquijo's personal awards include the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal and the Good Conduct Medal. Fans, please give a warm Coors Field heroes welcome to Sergeant Luis Urquijo and all of our nation's brave servicemen and women and their families. We thank you for your service and sacrifice. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country by the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the Colorado National Guard's 101st Army Band, is Staff Sergeant Sean Heading. Please welcome Staff Sergeant Heading and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
That has been the scoring today for the Marlins. That was with 2 outs, and then the Rockies came back in the bottom of the 4th inning. Sacrifice fly by Nolan Arenado, scoring Charlie Blackmon, and that is it. Kyle Kendrick, since that time, has been terrific on the mound for the Rockies, giving up 1 hit and 1 walk since the 1st inning. He has kept his team in the game. Recap brought to you by Cooney Lexus. Here's Carter Capps for the bullpen. Ryan, what do we know about this guy?
Well, this guy is one of the more interesting pitchers in baseball in that he really hops forward. I think of Rob Nen, I think of a Tim Lincecum who really hops forward. You can see, watch his back right foot. He goes to deliver, he pots forward and then throws it. He had to get sent down to the minor leagues because he was doing it at such a level where he was almost reestablishing where he was throwing. So you can see him hop. Think of Jordan Walden as another guy. So he has to drag his foot. It's okay to hop off the mound, but not twice. This is a guy that throws the ball up to 100 miles an hour.
Cargill will chop that one up the first base side. His count is 0-2. Interesting, too, where he hides the ball. It's behind his back leg, and then he brings forward that baseball. I think it's tough to pick up the baseball, too.
It's very hard to pick up, and if you look at some of the numbers, he's striking out nearly 16 batters per 9 innings. So he is making it very difficult for major league hitters to hit.
1 strikeout per inning in his career. He'll fire that one high and outside.
That ball is at 99 miles an hour. I mean, he really reminds me of Rob Nen. Rob Nen was the guy that, with the Giants years ago, great closer for the Giants. Great closer for the Marlins.
2-2. Jordan Walton's a good comparison too. When he's healthy, he threw like this. Marlins put the shift on in the infield, thinking Cargo is going to pull a ball even against a guy throwing 99. 2-2 off the end of his bat.
Fair.
That is going to be a foul ball. So Cargo against that shift, trying to put a bunt down earlier in the game.
Well, Carter Capps has tossed 8 consecutive scoreless innings. It's the longest active streak for the Marlins right now, and to the point where he's made it really difficult for left-handed hitters. They're only hitting 77 off of them, so below the Corey Sullivan line.
Pitched at a Division II college, Mount Olive College in North Carolina. Pitch is swung on and fouled. Boy, Cargo got a good swing on that fastball again, hit 99. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marlins up 2-1. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Total of 3 runs, a total of just 8 hits after last night's offensive barrage, especially from the Rockies with 10 runs on 17 hits. That one hit well to right field. Stanton going back and off the top. No, it's cleared the wall. It's a home run. Might have hit the top of the wall and land the bullpen. It ties the game up at 2. Cargo with a line drive.
I was hoping I'd mention Carter Capps 8 straight innings without giving up a run to jinx him, and it worked. Cargo great at bat, 2 strikes, fouling off some tough pitches, hitting the ball off the end of the bat, nearly went fair down the third baseline, and then just getting the timing down on Carter Capps. Slider that did not move far enough down. Cargo goes down to reach it. And on a beautiful blue day like today at Coors Field, the ball will travel, so good for Cargo.
I think Stanton thought he might catch that baseball, but just got over the fence. Cargo swinging the bat well. Had a big homer yesterday's game, another one today. 1-0 on Arenado. Almost hit him.
See the overhead angle, how close it was to hitting the wall. It hits that extra auxiliary, whatever you want to call that, chain link fence right behind it. And I'm sure Giancarlo, if he was close, would have jumped and probably made an effort at it.
A lot of his reach to tie the ball game up. So, boy, good to see that swing back for Carlos Gonzalez. Tied 2, nobody out here in the 7th inning, and a count of 3-0 on Arenado. Nolan drove in the other one with a sacrifice fly. Ball 4.
Cargo fighting off so many tough pitches in that at bat. Finally gets a slider that doesn't slide. It stays right in the middle of the plate. Look how Cargo goes down to get it. That's why it's so important to keep your legs under you. Even though he has that backside, you can see how it slides out. He's still keeping the weight back. He is so strong, able to just put barrel on it. Sometimes just putting the barrel on it and having control of your body can really do a lot of damage at the major league level. It may not have been his best perfect swing, but because a lot of things were under control, he was able to drive the ball out of the ballpark.
And he homered back-to-back games now for the first time since April 30th and May 1st of last year. So it has been over a year for Cargo, back-to-back home run games.
That's nice. It's nice to see that smile.
Yep.
And it's a reminder to him, you're a good player. I mean, this game is hard. Tulo talked about it with Jenny's hit that she did earlier today. It's not a given. Just because you are who you are doesn't mean you're just going to show up in the big leagues and you're going to hit 320 homers. It doesn't work that way.
Sliders thrown to Willeen Rosario with the first pitch by Capps. Willeen 0 for 2. Fielder's choice and a strikeout today. He of 2 homers in yesterday's game. Arenado at first and nobody out, so no one representing the go-ahead run. Not that much of a lead, but thrown over there anyway by Capps. The pitch. Fastball high. 1-1 to Willeen. Rockies have fared well in day games this year, despite being 4 games under 500. They're 12-7 during the day. Trying to keep that rolling on this Sunday afternoon. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Back to that slider.
I know the broadcast next door with the Marlins were talking about when Carter Capps came back from AAA, they really felt the fastball has always been there for him, running it up 97, 98, 99, 100 miles an hour, but that he needed a secondary pitch, and when he was working on keeping his foot to drag through off the rubber, he really developed a better slider.
So he walked Arenado after the home run to Gonzalez, but 1-2 on Rosario. Back to fastball at 99, or you throw that slider again?
I think we know Rosario can hit a fastball, so prove you can hit the slider.
It's in the dirt. Did get the breaking ball. 2-2. Nice work today by Urania. He goes 6 innings, allows just the 1 earned run on 3 hits. Giving way to Carter Capps and a home run. He's greeted in the ball game by Carlos Gonzalez with a long ball. 2-2. Breaking ball missed inside. Full count.
Carter Capps was pretty close to committing a balk right there. He did not stop, in my opinion, long enough to be able to throw to home plate. So you always want to keep an eye on that. The game will speed up on the relievers at times, especially at Coors Field. If you're not used to pitching at Coors Field, your first batter, you come up, you haven't given up a run in 8 scoreless innings, a guy pops a homer, you walk the next guy, the game's going to start speeding up on you.
Next pitch, and it hits Rosario. Willeen tried to jump back from it. Looks like he's okay. Pops right back up, which is a good sign. There was another slider, but it did not move at all. Willeen says, I'm all right. First and second, nobody out.
Oh, looks like it's a fastball that just runs up and in, hits Rosario right in the elbow guard. There's nothing you can do as a hitter. When that ball's coming right at you, you're just hoping it's not right at your face. You can live with the ball off your elbow guard. That's what it's there for. But there's not a scarier feeling in baseball than having the ball coming right at you and you're helpless.
That was 98 miles an hour, so that was a fastball. Just got away from the pitcher. So a home run and then 2 walks, and here's Nick Hundley. Brandon Barnes is on deck. Rockies have tied the ball game here in the 7th. They want some more. Hundley is 0 for 2. Scott Oberg warming in the Rockies pen. You got the hitter spot coming up after Barnes. Hundley showed bunt there, and I think that's what Capps wanted to do, is see if he was going to commit, and he did. And now Hundley's going to look down to third base again and make sure the bunt's still on.
Well, there's also times where, as a hitter, you can pretend like you know that you're not going to bunt, but you know they're going to do that move right there, and you pretend like you're going to bunt.
Showing bunt is Hundley, and he puts a bunt down. Back to the pitcher. It is a throw to third. Safe at third. Arenado beat the throw. Bases are loaded, nobody out.
And Prado's signaling to Dan Jennings in the dugout to challenge that.
It's a bang bang. Let's take a peek at it and see what it looks like on the replay.
Well, I was completely surprised that Carter Capps went to third base right there. That's a difficult play. It's going to be close. It's going to be hard to overturn this one. Oh, I don't know. I think it's too close to tell.
I think you're right about Prado. I think he was surprised that ball came his direction. Enough to overturn is the question, and it's going to be challenged by the Marlins. So it's either bases loaded and nobody out, or first and second and 1 out for the Rockies. So it's time for a Subaru review. Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes. Manager's Challenge brought to you by Subaru. Oh, it's tough. Oh, man. It's a tough decision for an umpire watching this thing back in New York where they make this decision.
Well, and Tony Randazzo is right on top of that. And a lot of times what the umpire is trying to do is use his eyes, so look at the base, and use his ears. So he's listening to the sound of the glove and the ball pop. And if he feels like the foot was in there and then the sound of the ball popping in the glove, then that's what they're going to make the safe call. And I think Tony made the right call. Obviously, for a Rocky standpoint, that's the right call. But even on this replay, it is tough to tell.
What's interesting is for the moment, Kyle Kendrick is back in front of the Rockies dugout with the bat in his hand, anticipating maybe this is overturned. You would think you'd get a pinch hitter for Kendrick here, but he's on the deck circle right now with Brandon Barnes ready to hit. There he is. Here's the decision. Out at third base. How about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's enough information to overturn it, but it's so hard to tell. These umpires, they're so good. I mean, they get, and with the replay system, I mean, it's what it's in play for. You're hoping he gets the call right. Still think it's a tough play to judge right there. I would have sided with Tony.
Now Brandon Barnes up there. Game still tied at 2, first and second, 1 out for the Rockies. Barnes has walked and struck out. In there, strike 1 to Barnes. For the moment, Kendrick is in the on-deck circle for the Rockies. And action continues in the Rockies' pen. Barnes has been good in these situations both this year and last year. Let's see if we come through again. Carter Capps fires. Swing and a miss.
My guess with Kyle Kendrick on deck, being used to having to ask to hit this situation, is if Brandon Barnes drives in some runs right here, if he hits a double and scores 2, Kendrick will come up to hit. But if Barnes somehow makes an out, I'd expect that Ynoa, because it's a left-hander, or so he's a switch hitter in that situation.
Bluff out to second, gets Rosario back to bag. A home run, a walk, and then another walk, and then a fielder's choice. Now the Marlins have the double play ball in order here, so the Rockies hoping they can avoid that. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 down. And Kendrick being called back now, it looks like, and we will get Ben Paulson, the left-handed hitter, coming out of the dugout. Well, he and Ynoa both have come out. Now that's Blackman, so Charlie's on deck. Ynoa, as Ryan figured he would, is going to pinch hit here for the Rockies.
Well, my guess for Ynoa was simply because in the bullpen was Mike Dunn, and he's a left-handed pitcher. If you were to use a Ben Paulson or Daniel Descalso right there in this situation, Dan Jennings would probably counter with the left-handed reliever. With Ynoa, you don't have to burn 2 hitters to have this at bat, and Ynoa can hit. He's been great off the bench.
Weiss singing his praises before the game to the media. Just thinks this guy is a real ball player in a lot of different ways. Great instincts. He can play different positions, and not a bad switch hitter either. He's looking to drive in a run here. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Tie at 2. Carter Capps with a pitch. Fouled away. He can get out of this inning, Capps, with 1 run allowed. I think he's got to be pretty happy. There's a home run, then 2 walks consecutive.
He's lucky it wasn't bases loaded, nobody out. Made a pretty aggressive play, taking the bunt off the mound and throwing to third base. Usually you just go to first base on that, take the more secure out, but he's been bailed out. The review overturned.
It takes that one high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, he hits 99 on the gun.
for a pinch hitter, when you're coming up and you're just looking for fastball and you're aggressive, that's the mentality of a pinch hitter. Is you're coming up here geared for 100, and if he throws it in there, you're swinging, you're firing away.
1 is chased, goes out of the strike zone. 1-2.
It's when you throw that wrinkle right there that's going to completely throw you off. If I'm I'm still looking for the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and if he throws another wrinkle, hopefully it speeds up my bat and he makes a bad pitch that I can hit it.
First and second, 2 down. 1-2 the count on Inoue. And Capsing it bluffs out towards second. Been good. The runners scoring position, 4 for 9 for Inoue this year. Hitting .274 overall, 5 RBIs. Now to come through and put the Rockies up in the 7th. The 1-2. He stayed away from that pitch that was in the dirt. 2-2. Didn't come back with a slider, but Inoue was able to take that low. Caps has a sign that he likes. And the time given to the catcher, Real Muto, will go out to the mound and talk to Caps here. So that's it for Kyle Kendrick today. What a terrific effort, especially after that tough first inning for Kendrick.
It was a great effort. 20 out of 27 first pitch strikes. He settled down, 4 strikeouts, a bunch of ground ball outs. Selfishly, I want Inoue to get these runs in to give Kyle a chance to get a win today.
Certainly has pitched well enough to get to earn one, deserve one. High and outside, full count. The runners will be in motion. Charlie Blackmon, a left-handed hitter, on deck. First baseman Bohr is moved back. He's going to play behind Hundley, the runner at first. There's Charlie waiting on deck. Rosario at second, Hundley at first. Inoue gets time at the plate.
And if Inoue gets on, I'm going to guess that this will be his last batter.
3-2 pitch, fouled away. Got a fastball. Caps has walked 2 in the inning already. 3-2 on Inoue here.
This is what makes Inoue so great, so beneficial to Walt, is the switch hitting at bat, but not only that, his ability to make contact.
And again, out to second base. Rosario dancing around back there. Nobody really holding him on. He's been getting a good lead, and of course he'll be breaking with a pitch. Here go the runners. The pitch fouled away again. Back to the fastball on the outside.
Quality at bat again by Rafael Inoue. Versatility he brings, the ability to play some outfield, anywhere on the infield. And the fact that he's a switch hitter, and not only has he hit well right-handed, he's been so good left-handed, giving these tough at-bats. This isn't an easy at-bat. Coming off the bench to face a guy throwing 100 miles an hour with a little hiccup in his delivery.
Here's the 8th pitch of this at-bat to Inoue. Chop it off the plate. That's going to be a foul ball. And hanging in there, came back with a fastball, and at 3-2 now, 3 consecutive fastballs. I think he's a little hesitant about throwing that slider again. He's done very well taking pitches this year in his at bats. Really battling Carter Capps. Moment of the game right here. Runners moving. Another 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Good pitch. Got the slider on the outside, looking for a fastball, and got a different pitch. So Cargo with a home run to begin the inning ties the ball game up. This is quite a ball game. We'll go to the 8th with the Rockies and Marlins tied up at 2 with Coors Field. First inning with a big swing to knock in 2. Nolan Arenado an RBI for the Rockies. And then Carlos Gonzalez a home run in his second consecutive game. A solo shot for the Rockies in the 7th inning. They had 2 walks after that, but couldn't score again. 2-2. We are tied up. Cargo swinging the bat very, very well these days. He's had a great homestand, and today another long ball into the Rockies bullpen. Scott Oberg comes on for the Rockies. The rookie right-hander has done a pretty solid job this year.
He's done a great job. He's actually one of the top guys in relief pitching as far as the National League is concerned at not allowing inherited runners to score. He's one of the best. Luckily, this is his inning, so there's no inherited runners. He gets to go out and compete. Last time he was out on the mound was against the Dodgers, and Jock Peterson caught him for a homer.
Ichiro Suzuki will pinch hit and lead off this inning for the Marlins. He'll take a pitch outside for ball 1. Quite a career for this guy. Well, 2 careers really in Japan and Major League Baseball in the States. That pitch is low and in 2-0. Here are the numbers. How about a total of 4,156 hits? You look at those cumulative numbers, right? I think the most impressive one, or at least one of them, how about the 262 hits in one season?
Wow. It's unbelievable. I had the pleasure of chatting with Ichiro today and kind of reminiscing about my time in Japan with him. And I'll tell you what, in the clubhouse with the Marlins, he's sandwiched right in between Giancarlo Stanton and Dee Gordon. They put Ichiro right between him, and they love him. I mean, he's happy. He is professional. You know where Ichiro is at any moment of the day based on his routine.
Chopper off the plate to Arenado. Out number 1.
Oh, wow. Star Wars Night is back for 2015 on Saturday, August 22nd. I'll be there with the pregame parade for fans in costume. Purchase the Star Wars ticket package to receive the 2015 limited edition Star Wars Night t-shirt. I guarantee you Chewbacca will be there. Jar Jar Binks, I hope, misses this invite.
You don't like him?
No.
Star Wars fan, though, in general?
Very big one, yeah.
Top of the order, Dee Gordon. Oberg will throw strike 1 to Gordon, who has got 2 more hits, 2 singles today. Scored one of those runs back in the first inning. 5 hits for the Marlins, 4 for the Rockies. Scott Oberg fires high, 1-1. Comes from a baseball family. Mentioned earlier, his younger brother Nick was drafted first round by the Twins. Father, Flash Gordon, Tom Gordon, was a major league pitcher. He just missed inside. He jumped back away from that one. Didn't miss by a whole lot, but it's 2-1.
I think he really got comfortable once they moved him from shortstop to second base. And defensively, he's got so much range. He has a great arm. Can play second base where you have to do the backhand jump and throw. And offensively, he can steal a base, but just watching how well he's handled that leadoff spot, putting the ball in play, he's turned into a fantastic player.
3-1 pitch. He is lined to left field. That's a base hit. 3-hit day for him. Big turn for Gordon. He is going to hold. Barnes gets the ball in quickly. 3 singles for Dee Gordon. 1 down in the 8th inning.
He reminds me so much of Juan Pierre, being able to just hit the ball opposite field right in that 6 hole. But not only that, you see it, he started to pull the ball. He pulled the ball for a base hit earlier, and right out of the box, he's running hard. If Barnes took an extra step, he would be probably standing on second base right now.
He tried to steal a base back in the 5th, and he was thrown out by Nick Hundley on a pitch out. Not going on that pitch, and Prado takes strike 1. Rockies called the pitch out, and they guessed right. Hundley with the perfect throw to second. One for 3 for Prado today. Oberg with a pitch. 1-1.
Well, Gordon's 87 hits, leads Major League Baseball. The Marlins records for a hit in a season. Juan Pierre, 2004, had 221. Thank you, Dougie Marino.
Well, Juan Pierre had a pretty good career, didn't he?
It looks like his younger brother is now at first base for the Marlins.
Prado bouncing ball to third, second for one. LeMahieu, double play. Beautifully started by Arenado, turned by LeMahieu at second base. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Rockies looking to break a 2-2 tie. With the best record in baseball, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday afternoon, it goes Hale, De La Rosa, and Bettis against a tremendous starting rotation for the Cardinals. We'll see what the Rockies can do after today with the Cardinals and Rockies in a 3-game set. Here it's 2-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. A new pitcher now comes on. Mike Dunn, a left-hander for the Marlins, will take over. Second pitcher for the bullpen.
Well, this is a guy that last year set a career high in games pitched, when he had 75 appearances as a reliever. 10 wins, also led National League relievers. And something I just read about him, which was amazing to me, he's had 23 games where he's had 3 or more strikeouts in an outing.
How about this? Since the start of 2011, 307 appearances, more than any major league left-hander. Left-handed hitter, and Charlie Blackmon looks at strike one. Single in 3 trips today for Blackmon. Rockies out hit 6-4, tie at 2 in the 8th. And outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. John Axford throwing in the Rockies pen.
Big inning for the Rockies right here. Not an easy reliever to score some runs off of. We know if you get in the situation where the Marlins are using their closer in A.J. Ramos, he is as difficult of a guy to hit off right now as there is in baseball.
This one hit well to left field, chasing Yelich back on the warning track. He makes a catch. Didn't quite get all of it, Charlie Blackmon. Made it interesting, but it's the first out. Well, who wants tacos? Fans, follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Did that yesterday with 10 runs, but they have put the 2 so far today. DJ LeMahieu next. DJ has one of the Rockies' 4 hits, a single way back in the first. Struck out and lined out. Now it's pitch low and inside. Urania started. Carter Capps came in. Now Mike Dunn, righty for the bullpen. Now a lefty. Mayhew takes that for a strike.
A fastball 96 off the plate. And for Mike Dunn to be able to just follow it up, he has a little cutter he can throw inside on righties. It's why he makes him so effective. There's that pitch.
Foul at the plate. The 2.
At 97 miles an hour. When you're able to locate the outside part of the strike zone with your fastball and then back it up and command the inside part of the strike zone with your fastball, and that went with a little cut. And as a hitter, you don't know where I'm going to look. You almost have to set up down the middle and look right down the middle, which I know a lot of people assume, well, isn't that what you're supposed to? But typically when you do that, it opens up the plate.
2-2. There aren't that many left-handers that throw as hard as this. You got to roll this Chapman, it certainly does more, but not too many more.
And off the top of my head, I'm thinking Andrew Miller might be another one, and he's a great reliever.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Challenge with a fastball at 96, and LeMahieu struck out in back-to-back at bats on fastballs. 2 outs in the 8th for Tulowitzki. Jake Diekman, the left-hander from the Phillies, throws hard.
Just got
where it's going to go.
Just got sent down to the minor leagues.
Did he really?
Yep, he's in Lehigh Valley.
Pitched against the Rockies twice in Philadelphia. Troy Tulowitzki with 2 outs and nobody on. And the pitch by Dunn. And here's strike 1. Troy's going to take one. Interesting season for Troy with the home runs. The first 43 games he had a total of 2. The last 6 games, 4.
You can see his batting average against lefties, .409 batting average.
And a bit low this time, 1-1. At the heart of the Marlins order coming up in the 9th inning with 3, 4, and 5. Stanton, Bohr, and Ozuna. John Axford will come in. Pitch to Tulo's in the dirt. 2-1 to Troy.
Anytime you have a rubber game, you want to win it. You want to win every series you can. And not to say it's more important because the Cardinals are coming in town and how good the Cardinals have been playing baseball, but for me it's more when the Rockies are good at home, when they are playing well at Coors Field. Right now they're a game over 500 on the road. This is a potential very, very good Rockies team.
Drive to deep left. On the move is Ozuna. It's one hop of the wall. Not a home run, but an extra base hit for Tulowitzki. A stand-up 2-out double. And he pulls that ball a little bit more. The Rockies have the lead.
Well, he hits it to the deepest part of Coors Field. Gets on top of a fastball. Dunn tries to cut it inside, but Tulo beats him to that corner. And you can see it. He drives it out there. And it just tails towards that deep, deep corner. And one hops the fence. Ozuna has no shot. And now you have Cargo coming up in arguably the biggest moment of the day against the toughest left-handed pitcher available right now for the Marlins, their only left-handed pitcher. And luckily, Cargo's been taking these great at-bats.
See if he's up for the challenge here. The pitch, high, ball 1. Let's look at the T-Mobile Game Changer, brought to you by T-Mobile. Game Changer came from this guy at the plate back in the 7th inning. Carlos Gonzalez with a line shot home run to the Rockies bullpen. Tied the ball game at 2. The Game Changer brought to you by T-Mobile. Followed up with any kind of base hit here and scored Tulowitzki. Back-to-back games, the home run for Tulo. For Cargo, I should say, a 3-run homer yesterday, a solo shot to begin the 7th today. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. That's quite a pitch. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside.
Great pitch by Dunn, but a pitch where you put the ball in play with the way the infield is shifted. Echeverria right behind Tulo. Prado almost hugging third base. There's a lot of room for him to put a ball on the ground towards short.
A Good swing on that, but he fouled it back. Now it's 1-2. Dunn has played with the Yankees, Atlanta, and now his 4th year with the Marlins.
You can see how much room is available to Cargo on the left side of the field, but it's not that easy to just, oh, I'll just massage the baseball over here off a guy throwing 96 that with the fastball cutting.
And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. No, fouled at the plate. Just caught a piece of it, and Real Muto couldn't hold on. The at-bat stays alive for Gonzalez. Grounded out to third base. Hit the ball on the right side of the infield, but Prado grabbed it. A walk in the 4th inning to the home run for Cargo. 1 for 2 with a walk. 1-2 pitch again. Broke his bat, rolled it toward third. Prado's got this one. He'll throw to first base, and there's out number 3. Second time today that Gonzalez has broken his bat. Rockies rally with 2 outs, unable to score. Head of the ninth with a tie at 2.
A great year so far on the mound. He's given up no runs in 15 of 17 of his outings. What I really like about him is that he's not afraid of this moment. He wants to face the Giancarlo Stantons, the heart of the lineup.
Stanton is 0 for 3 today with 1 strikeout after the 4 yesterday. Justin Bohr, the cleanup hitter, the first baseman after that, and then Marcelo Zuna, who's driven in the 2 runs.
Oh, that's great. Happy birthday to my oldest son, JB. That's from John Axford. So happy birthday,
Very
JB.
nice. Righty on a righty matchup as Axford fires, and a breaking ball missed away. Curveball at 76. Axford always works from the stretch. Big right-hander out of Canada. And the pitch to Stanton, swing and a miss. He was tardy with that swing at 96 miles an hour.
That's part of the reason why Axford started him off with the curveball. You start him off with the pitch that slows up the at-bat. He hasn't seen the fastball yet. Now he gives him pops in the fastball, and it's going to feel a lot faster than if he would have thrown first pitch fastball.
Stanton will take that fastball high and tight, so 2 balls and a strike. From Canada, played college baseball for a while anyway at Notre Dame. He's had a couple great years as a closer with the Milwaukee Brewers especially. 2-1. Inside, ball 3.
And you can see the face mask that Giancarlo Stanton wears. He only wears it against right-handed pitchers. He will not wear it against a left-handed pitcher. He just doesn't feel that left-handers throw it up and into him.
Bouncing ball played beautifully by LeMahieu behind the bag, and the right spot was DJ for the first out.
All fans on Tuesday, June 9th will receive an LED bulb upon exiting the game, courtesy of XL Energy. If it lights up blue, red, or green, you could win a suite for 12 or great other prizes.
So 1 down. Rockies put a shift on as John Axford goes to work against Justin Bour. Bour today has walked, fouled out, and grounded out to first base. Pitch is off the plate for ball 1.
Well, same thing. He starts Bour off with the curveball. Part of that is when you know you're facing a closer, you're looking for the fastball. And to throw an off-speed pitch throws off the fastball.
We're going to take that one for a strike. Sam Dyson, right-hander, warming in the Miami bullpen. And the closer, Ramos, warming up as well. Ground ball off the end of bat. Charges is Arenado. Quick throw, sidearm is in time to get Bour. Doesn't run very well. Good play though defensively for the Rockies Gold Glover at third after a Gold Glove play by the second baseman at second.
Well, you say third base, but really that shortstop Nolan being in that really far shift for the left-handed hitter. Ball's cute, so it has some funny English on it. Justin Bour does not run very fast down the first baseline, so it gives Nolan enough time to field that ball and fire him out at first.
Marcell Ozuna now, the man who's driven in both runs in the first inning with a single. Did it with 2 outs. Since then, 2 ground ball outs. John Axford looking for a 1-2-3. Pitches outside, ball 1.
I often get asked, why do teams use their closer in a tie game at home? Well, the reason why is you're trying to give yourself a chance to hit. You don't use your closer on the road in a tie game. You use your closer on the road to close out a game. But at home, when you know you're going to be the last team hitting and you're trying to keep them from scoring, it's when you'll typically prevent that opportunity. Use your closer.
So for the Marlins on their side, you would guess Dyson if there's a tie game. Certainly their closer Ramos if it's a lead for the Marlins.
Exactly.
3-0 here to Ozuna. One blemish over the years for John Axford. A few too many walks. He'll be the first one to tell you that. Not happened so much this year. He's 3-0 though on this hitter, Ozuna. Imagine taking a pitch here. We'll see.
You got to be careful. Yeah, I'd never assume anything.
Takes that pitch. It's a strike.
I am of the train of thought against a closer, all bets are off. I want you to take your best swings no matter what the count is, because the closer has the best stuff, arguably in the bullpen.
3-1 by Axford. Swing and a miss. Threw it by him. 96 and a late swing by Ozuna. Now we got a full count.
Well, Axford challenges him. 3-1 fastball count. Throws it right by him.
Axford looking for a 1-2-3. 9th inning. Foul ball.
Ozuna just missed that one. That one squared up but foul. That's a healthy cut on a fastball. 3-2. Tried to get him with the same pitch that he had him on 3-1.
You would think Axford would deliver a fastball in this situation, but he has not always done that. He's got some strikeouts with a curveball. Only has flashed the signs to the right-hander. And the pitch. To Hopper to DJ LeMahieu. It'll be a 1-2-3 ninth for John Axford against the Marlins. And the Rockies have a chance to win it the ninth. Leadoff man will be Nolan Arenado in the bottom of the ninth inning. They'll go away. Ninth inning, they'll have to do it against another pitch here as Sam Dyson comes on for Miami.
Again, another guy that's going to be throwing hard for the Miami Marlins. Marlins rank 6th in all of baseball with fastball velocity, so the guys they run out of their pen are going to be throwing hard. Sam Dyson has been very good for the Marlins. You can see those numbers. He has not given up a homer since 2014.
Rockies just take a run of any kind, including maybe a sacrifice fly. That's what they got on Wednesday from Nolan Arenado with the bases loaded against the Dodgers. And scored the run for the walk-off for Nolan Arenado on that night. And, of course, you got to have the pie in the face afterward when you have the walk-off.
Yeah, you can't do it before you go out.
You can, but I don't know if it fit very well.
Yeah, that's true.
So a guy don't give up many home runs as a guy that has hit 13 of them this year to lead the team, Nolan Arenado. Pitch is fouled away off to the right. Got a good swing on that first pitch, 99 miles an hour.
I told you these guys throw hard.
Well, for losing their closer early in the year to ineffectiveness, they have hung on pretty well, that bullpen.
They have, and they have, what have we count? 6 guys that throw over 95, 96 miles an hour in that bullpen.
1-1 on Arenado. Rosario to follow, and then Hundley. That one way upstairs, got away from the catcher, Real Muto, and it's now 2-1. Advantage to Arenado. What's he thinking here, right? Is he thinking a home run? He's just thinking base hit.
You have to be thinking base hit. It's very rare, and it's one of those situations where you have to not think that, but it's very rare to think home run and actually do it.
Swing and a miss. Took a big cut. Came up empty on the fastball. 2-2.
Times that you hit home runs are the times that you're just trying to make solid contact, or you're trying to hit a single. Albert Pujols just passed Jimmy Fox today, argues that he's a singles hitter.
Breaking ball. Full count.
I've heard Albert tell me that before, and it made me laugh at first base. Yeah, man, you are such a fun power hitter. He's like, bro, I'm a singles line drive hitter.
I told you, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's a good for him mentally to think of that.
Payoff pitch. Fouled it back to screen. You figured that fastball was coming. Nolan fouled it back. Still 3-2. Tyson always working from the stretch. He's ready. Swing and a miss. He went off speed with a slider, and he got Arenado. Check it, a changeup at 90 miles an hour. One down.
Probably the toughest combo for a pitcher to have as a hitter to face is a fastball changeup combo. He can throw 98 miles an hour, and you can see how he holds that. It's a circle changeup, and watch the bottom fall out. Great pitch right there. Good pitch sequence with the fastballs followed by a changeup. As a hitter, there's not much you can do. That's a tip your cap. That was dirty.
Marlene Rosario bounces one out in front of the plate. That's a fair ball. Grabbed by the catcher, Real Muto, when he throws to first for a quick second out. Marlene didn't agree, didn't think that was a fair ball. Standing at first base. Let's take a look at it.
Well, right now the ball is in fair. Looks like it hits something. If it hits Rosario in the box, it's a foul ball.
You see that first bounce hit in front of the plate. The question is whether the second one did, and I think it did.
Here's another look on the Subaru Supermo. Rosario with the slider hits off the end of the bat. That ball right there is in fair territory. Stays out of the way. Oh, you can see where the fair line is. That's a fair ball.
Up to Nick Hundley to keep this inning going for the Rockies. 2 outs and nobody on. Boone Logan warming in the Rockies bullpen. Looks like if the Rockies don't score, he'll pitch the 10th inning. Bouncing up there, ball 1 to Hundley.
Well, if you can look at the Marlins outfield, they are as far back. They're almost parallel with the warning track. Any ball that is just put in play into the outfield should be a base hit. It's one of the common mistakes most opposing teams make, is playing way too deep. I mean, any ball hit over your head, yes, you're playing no doubles. I get that. But any ball hit over your head is in the stance. You're not going to catch it. It's more likely off a guy throwing 98 miles an hour that has already seen bad swings off of is a ball in front of you.
3-0 to Hundley. Brandon Barnes waiting on deck. Look how far Yelich is and left. He's a foot, he's a stride from the warning track. 3-0 taken for a strike by Hundley. Now the action will start.
I think that's the farthest I've ever seen a left fielder at Coors Field. I mean, other than making a catch against the wall, that's there. Come in a couple steps.
3-1. Inside, ball 4. Hundley draws a 2-out walk. There's the potential game-winning run at first base. Taking 5 pitches, he gets to first base, and Brandon Barnes, the hitter. See if maybe there's a pinch runner here. I don't think Walt's going to do that at this point. Anybody left there to pinch run, is there?
I would use Chris Russin. He was fast yesterday.
He is
but
quick.
Between Daniel Descalso and Ben Paulson, I mean, you're fine with Nick Hundley.
It's to Barnes. Hit foul out of play. Well, you mentioned earlier, actually, Hundley runs pretty well for catchers.
He does run well. So that's my point. Not that Descalso isn't fast or that Ben Paulson isn't fast. It's just not an upgrade.
Brandon Barnes is 0 for 2 with a walk today. Struck out twice, walked once.
Oh, I like that. A year ago today, he had a walk-off. Do it again.
Chops it up toward third base. That's a foul ball that came off his front foot. Pulled all the way out to Prado with some pretty good pace to it. At the changeup, it's 0-2 on Barnes. Rockies coming off a game yesterday when they had 17 hits, a season high. They are behind that count today with just 5.
Well, Barnes didn't have a hit yesterday. He doesn't have one today so far. What a better time than right now.
There goes Hundley to second. The pitch is outside. Throw to second. Not in time. A stolen base for Hundley. No, we don't need any pinch runner.
I don't know what we're thinking. That's why we didn't. We told you. We said don't pinch run for him.
First this season for Hundley.
Well, Hundley watched several pitches to know that he's going to go high leg kick. He looks in, so there's times that you think, is that a hit and run? No, not with 2 strikes. Hundley gets a great jump, puts himself in scoring position. Now a base hit. The outfield for the Marlins have had to come in because they can't play that far back. They have to be able to still make a throw if there's a base hit, get the chance to throw him out at home plate.
9th career stolen base for Hundley, so he's run a little bit in the past. First this year. 1-2 on Barnes. Base hit wins it. 1-2 pitch. Little floater out to right. That's going to be a foul ball. Came inside with a fastball and jammed it. Barnes. Now holds it 1-2. Brandon Barnes has a flair for the dramatic. Do it against Sam Dyson and win the ball game for the Rockies in the 9th. Otherwise, extra innings. Ben Paulson's got a bat in his hand waiting on deck. First base is open. I'm guessing this pitcher Dyson going right at Barnes. The pitch in the dirt. It's 2-2.
Great job by Nick Hundley to take second base. It puts so much more pressure on the defense. It puts pressure on the pitcher. And then as a hitter, yes, it puts a little more pressure because you're thinking a base hit wins the game, but it also takes a lot of it out of there because you know he's going to have to challenge you at some point.
2-2 pitch. And it hit him. It hit Brandon Barnes. He's got first base. Now things are interesting here in the 9th inning. First and second, 2 down.
Well, I would assume this one hurts. That's a sinker, 97 miles an hour that just continued to run in, squares him up in the hip. Barnes, even though he's a former football player, that couldn't have felt good.
Ben Paulson is introduced. Going to pinch hit here for Axford. Ben Paulson has a chance to win a game. Lefty hitter, righty pitcher. Paulson at .321 on the year. And the pitch to Ben. Chopped it foul at the plate, strike 1. Lefty here, 1 on deck, and Charlie Blackmon. It's a great thing about this game of baseball. You can sit on the bench for 8 2/3 and come off and be the hero.
I've seen it happen many, many times, and it's part of why you have to be professional, why you have to be mentally ready for these situations.
1 is high and outside.
Because you're right. Ben Paulson's been sitting on the bench for 8 2/3 of an inning, and he just got thrown into the most important at bat of the game. And you're expected to take a professional at bat.
The 1-1. Chopped off the plate towards first. Grabbed by Bohr. He'll flip to his pitcher covering first base. And we're going to extra innings. Nice job by the pitcher Dyson. After 2 outs, he had 2 base runners, but he got through it. 10th inning coming up next. jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. Into the 10th we go with a tie at 2 with the Rockies and Marlins in this rubber game of the 3-game set. Not many offensive weapons used today. Changes defensively for the Rockies at first base. Ben Paulson stays in the game after pinch hitting. We have a new man on the mound as well. Left-hander Boone Logan will take over here in the 10th inning for the Rockies.
Boone's used to these situations coming in late in the game. You can see the ERA 4.42, but look at what he's done against lefties. A 115 batting average. He's going to face Christian Yelich to lead it off, and then Real Muto. Get the leadoff runner out, changes the entire dynamics of how this inning is going to play out.
Left-handed hitter at that in this guy Yelich. Yelich is 1 for 3, singled back in that first inning. So Boone Logan from the bullpen. We had Kendrick start, Oberg, Axford, and now Logan. Miami scores their 2 runs in the first inning. Rockies get 1 4th inning and 1 7th inning. Combined 4 runs, combined 11 hits. When Logan delivers, Yelich looking to punt. He pulled the bat back, took it inside. Just a .224 batting average for Yelich after a very good year a year ago. .284 with 9 homers and 54 RBIs. That one hit to left and playable there for Barnes. Retreats a couple of steps, makes a catch.
Good start to this 10th inning. Boone Logan's only allowed 2 hits in the last 4 2/3 of an inning. It's been very effective. I won't tell you any more stats just because I'm into the not mentioning certain things, especially late in the game.
You can throw as many stats at me as you want. 1 down. JT Real Muto, the catcher. He has flied out 3 times today. Twice to center and once to right.
He's been very aggressive in all of his at-bats since Friday, swinging a lot of first pitches.
Gets a breaking ball outside for ball 1. All 4 of those hits coming in one game. He was 4 for 4 on Friday. Low 2-0. One thing Logan has struggled with some of this year, the walks. He's going 2-0 on this right-handed hitter. Another righty in Echeverria is on deck.
Well, you'll probably see Jeff Baker if it comes to that spot.
3-0.
Pitcher spot 2 spots away.
Tommy Kahnle's warming in the Rockies pen. Logan try not to lose Real Muto here with 1 out. 3-0 pitch, strike 1. Mainly sunny skies and blue sky today, but some clouds overhead now. 3-1 is the count. Boone Logan delivers. And a ground ball hit to second base. DJ LeMay to a knee. DJ will take care of business. 2 outs. Nice job by Logan to come back after 3-0 on the hitter.
Well, and that's a 3-1 hitter's count, and for Real Muto to take a good healthy hack, but because of where the pitch location is, and Boone has that movement that runs away from the right-handed batter, forces a ground ball right to DJ. Good job. 3-1. Battle back. 3-0. There's Jeff Baker on deck.
In the meantime, it is Adeiny Echeverria, the shortstop. 0 for 3 today. In there, strike 1. Echeverria just 2 homers this year. There's Jeff Baker, the former Rocky. Baker's got a little pop in his bat. Let's hope the Rockies don't get to him here. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, and even though he never left on bad terms with the Rockies, it always feels like those are revenge at bats. You always want to burn the team that you came up with, and You know he's not trying to do it on purpose, but that's how it always seems to have worked out.
He's hit the ball well against the Rockies since he left here.
Yes, he has.
2-1. Echeverria is interesting. He on the road is a .365 hitter. At home, .255. So that's a tough ballpark to hit in Miami. But he has advantage with the count, 2-1. That one hit to center. Charlie Blackmon going back. Charlie still moving. Gone. With 2 outs in the top of the 10th inning, Adeiny Echeverria, with his 3rd home run this year, has put his team up 3-2.
This is why pitching behind in the count is not a good place to be, especially for a relief pitcher. 2-1 count right there. Gets away with it, 3-1 to Real Muto, but here's a ball that just finds the center of the plate. Echeverria puts a good swing on it, barrels it up. You can see the ball cut almost right into his barrel. Charlie giving chase in center field. Was hoping it was going to hit off the wall, but based on the sound, we're so used to the sound of you square up a baseball. I mean, it's almost, you know it's a home run. It just makes a different sound.
1-0 with Jeff Baker. .282 hitter, a couple of homers for the former Rockies, 6 RBIs. He's had 1 start in the series, and he hits that one right back to the screen. .353 hitter in 16 games against the Rockies since he departed Denver. He's 2 for 12 as a pinch hitter this year. For the Marlins, that's the first man Echeverria passed first base since the 1st inning, and it was a solo home run to give the team the lead. That one's bounced to 3rd. That is a foul ball. Adeiny Echeverria. Down the pitch to his liking, right over the middle of the plate, down a little bit, but that guy's a good low ball hitter. We've seen that in the series.
Yep. And he got a pitch. He's saying, "Look at my strength right here. Come on, man."
1-2 on Baker.
Now you know you're going to have to face A.J. Ramos next inning, who's been extremely difficult to hit.
Broken bat, lifts it out into right center field. LeMahieu calling for it. DJ will get it. Rockies need 1 to tie, 2 to win. Adeiny Echeverria has put his team up 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. Let's see what the Rockies might do. Marlins can bring on their closer, A.J. Ramos, and Ryan, this guy's been lights out this year.
He has been lights out. Great fastball, great changeup, good slider. Came in Friday's game where I really felt he got thrown in fast. He didn't get the proper time to warm up. There was a situation where they sped him up with the 2 runners that got on base off Mazzaro in the 9th inning, and they had to get Ramos warmed up. Comes in a tough situation and shuts down the door.
Top of the order for the Rockies, Charlie Blackmon. Rockies have had just 2 leadoff men reach base today. Blackmon did that in the 4th inning. And in there, strike 1, caught the outside corner.
Well, Ramos has only given up 1 run in the last 15 games. Opponents are hitting 140 off of him. That's a .61 ERA.
27 in the 3rd, and 14 hits is all. Sprayed foul right over the dugout. Quickly, Blackmon is down 0-2. Charlie, when he was able to get on base in the 4th inning, scored a run, and the other leadoff base hit was the home run by Gonzalez to lead off the 7th. So both those men to lead off the inning for the Rockies scored today.
Well, with Charlie and DJ both coming up, both being able to get on base, it gives you at least a shot with Tulo and Cargo.
Still 0-2 on Blackmon. It's always tough when you lose your closer, and the Marlins did that with just ineffectiveness. Steve Cishek just couldn't get anybody out, so he's been sent to the minors. He was a setup man for a while, now minor league pitcher, but when you can have this guy take over and do the job he's done, you're in good shape. Get to left field, playable though for Yelich. He'll move toward the line. And there was a first out in the 10th for the Rockies. Just a weak fly ball to left off the left-handed hitter. DJ LeMahieu next. Rockies, a game, we mentioned this, a game over 500 on the road, 14 and 13, 5 games under at home, and 2 outs away from losing their 17th with 11 wins.
That is so shocking to me.
Isn't it, though?
It really is. I really think the weather has part of that, but I'm making an excuse by saying that. And I mean, one of the beautiful things about being a Colorado Rocky is that Coors Field is your home, and other teams are intimidated by it.
Foul ball off LeMahieu's bat. 1 ball, 1 strike on DJ. Single 1st inning, and then he struck out twice and lined out to right. Somebody to get on base in this situation. Here's your man, LeMahieu, hitting .337.
On that .448 on base percentage in June. So he's getting on base.
Stayed away from the pitch on the outside, 2-1. There's the 83-mile-an-hour Ramos slider.
He's tough. Changeup, good slider at the fastball.
Pitch is hit to right field. Stanton moving back. Stanton's got room, and he'll make this catch on the run. Hit pretty well the other way by LeMahieu, but the Rockies down to their final out.
Well, that's a 2-out defense where you can see Giancarlo Stanton playing pretty far back. If you get a base hit, it's going to have to land in front of him. He's not going to let a ball over his head, so he puts a runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. Stanton playing deep. That ball was drilled by DJ, but because the defense playing farther back, not as far back as Christian Yelich, but still far enough to make an easy play.
Let's see if Tulowitzki might be able to keep this interesting. Outfield way deep again. Tulowitzki 2 hits today. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Single 4th inning, doubled 8th inning. Didn't score either time. Two Marlins in the bottom of the 10th inning. 2 outs and nobody on for the Rockies. The pitch to Tulo. Hit foul out of play, and now the Rockies down their last strike. 0-2 on Troy. Lost game 1 on Friday, bounced back with a great win yesterday, and now down 3-2 here in the 10th. With the Cardinals looming in a 3-game series here starting tomorrow night. Ramos has got 2 fly ball outs in the inning. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball missed low and outside. Figured that one was coming. 1-2 on Troy.
Might get 2 of those, maybe even 3 of them.
Yep, I'm with you.
If I'm AJ Ramos, I want Tulo to get on base hitting my best pitch. Whatever that pitch is, that's what I would go to.
Did go around? He did. Strike 3. And that is the ball game. The Rockies go down in order in the bottom of the 10th inning, and in this one, as Troy Tulowitzki didn't think he went around, but this one lost by the Rockies. They lose the series, and here's our hero, Adeiny Etcheverria, the shortstop, with a home run with 2 outs in the top of the 10th inning. But Jimmy John's delivery of the game is from this guy right here, the long ball. He had but 2 home runs all year long, 2 outs, nobody on. Left center field, Adeiny Etcheverria with a game-winning solo home run. That's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. A tough one for the Rockies today. They lose the ball game 3-2 in 10 innings. Rockies drop now to 11-17 at home this year. They split with the Dodgers. They lose the series to the Marlins. And we'll do it for the booth here. Let's go out to Jenny, Jason, and Corey out in our center field set for Root Sports.
All right, Jerry, thanks so much. The battle doesn't belong to the Rockies in this one, but a few good things can come out of this.
Yeah, both starting pitchers real tough today. Runs were definitely at a premium.
Yeah, unfortunately, the offense wasn't able to get it going against Urania or the rest of the pitching staff.
We'll have the Toyota postgame show coming up. We will get you inside the clubhouse then. Stick with us as the Rockies fall to the Marlins 3-2.